audible?
Yes, you are audible, Mr. Dharmendra.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, leaders. It is a pleasure to welcome everyone to the 48th Inflection Manufacturing IT Innovation Web Conference and Awards 2022, organized by Alden Global Value Advisors. I am Priyanka Jain from Team Alden Global and will host for the day. Inflection is a series of web and physical conferences and awards across Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore. Today, we are joined by top technology leaders of India to make this conference an exciting communication platform for sharing best practices, the roadmap to the future, and innovative solutions. Today, conference theme is Igniting Digitization to Change the Face of Manufacturing. Today, 100 plus CXOs and more than 300 plus attendees have registered to gain insights from top leaders. Let's start the conference with first panel discussion of the day. The topic for the panel discussion is Stirring Digital Transformation in Fmcg. Here I call moderator Mr. Dharmendra Verma from Samsung Data System, Kapil Pal from United Breweries, Prasad Udyawar from Parle Agro, Ashwin Prajapati from Symphony, Ms. Vipin Dutra from PepsiCo, Tutika Praveen Sai Kumar from Imami, Vipin Rustagi from Jockey. Now I welcome moderator to start the discussion.
Hey, thank you. Thank you so much, Priyanka. I really always appreciate such kind of arrangement, wherein in this pandemic somehow we are able to meet with top leaders in this sector, and really it's very good opportunity for all of us to exchange our and brush up our knowledge a little bit, and definitely we'll share with but the same our experience with all the attendees and panel members. So I would like to welcome you all, and before moving ahead, I definitely I would like to thanks to all of you because I know that these days IT sectors and all these manufacturing are, I mean, it's a overloaded, I would say. It's a very demanding these days, and really hard to get time for such attending such platform and bringing some time even for this. So thanks a lot to everyone, and also thank you for giving your quick response as we are in discussion. So moving ahead, as this Priyanka has already shared the topic, which I have also received. This is steering digital transformation in FMCG. So this is really a very interesting part, especially although it was there earlier, before this COVID and all started in 2020. So we were trying to gradually improve this area, and we were trying to digitize the market and FMCG sectors and all. But the I would say our speed was quietly calculated one based on our 2 3 4 5 year plan, how we have to grow ourselves, right, in this area, in all those, I mean, top brands, and even though new startup and companies. But after this pandemic, we all have experienced this, that the things are not based on our plan, rather it moved on little bit based on the demands. So since the demand is really very high, and wherein this IT sector is also, I don't see such kind of boom in last 20 25 years. Even we all will share this gradually in this discussion. So this is really a very interesting topic we are going to discuss here, and I'm sure that we all are going to be very interactive, and we are sharing that very fruitful knowledge with everyone. I really am here to brush up little bit things which we may can apply in our core areas, and also I would like to share some experience wherein we are already working into it, and we have to move further accordingly. And then in the end of this discussion, definitely we will take few calls and questions which Priyanka will share with us, and we will discuss on those lines as well. So as per, if I start this first based on this topic, getting transformation in this area and digital transformation in FMCG, then the few factors comes in my mind. If we talk about, even though we are little far from the base, as I mentioned, that demands is really very high these days, and especially that small players, they are coming into the market and gradually becoming a competitor of the large organizations also, and they are giving a good competition, right, and which is really a good part in terms of the consumer. So today we will discuss even as a consumer perspective, as well as the as in digital transformation leader perspective. So moving ahead, while we are talking about this part, then definitely the main objective is coming, that how to influence as in digital leaders, how the technology can be influenced in this sector, right? So definitely we will talk in this area in detail, but I would like to invite Bipin Luthra on this topic, if she can share her opinion, and then gradually we'll discuss on this topic more into it.
Sure, thanks, Dharmendra. So, technology is really these days influencing the FMCG sector. There is a big digital transformation which every organization is experiencing. And digital disruption, it has really changing the consumer behaviors. How consumers are seeing their products, how they are ordering is undergoing a complete shift. E-commerce space has completely disrupted the FMCG space, and COVID has also pushed people to adapt to the digital mindset. Means 2 years back, when organizations were really struggling to have a digital mindset of business users, now COVID has pushed this entire world and have made IT part of every person, whether they are students, whether they are parents, us, everybody. Means I know my parents, they earlier struggled to use smartphone and WhatsApp. Means I have to spend a lot of time, but now they are ordering food on WhatsApp and using Amazon, and it's a big paradigm shift for me. Similarly, our kids, they are so much digital savvy these days, so the entire world is experiencing a big change. And the basic foundation of FMCG's company is to basically make their products visible. And the key mantra of FMCG is, jo dikta hai wo bikta hai. And it is very essential, these companies, how do they shape up their marketing and their advertising strategies, how to reach out to a broad base of consumers who are now moving out to various channels of shopping, online shopping. They are seeing different kind of content apart from their TV channels. They have moved to Netflix, they are seeing YouTube, there are several other channels that they are seeing these ads. So this area of digital marketing, it is completely undergoing a complete transformation. And there are multiple aspects of this, like search engine marketing, video marketing, social media activity, email marketing, etc. So this is something that every organization need to tap on. How can they make their products more visible to the wider audiences and see that people get a chance to buy them through their preferred channel? So that is one thing. And AI is playing a vital component in this. And there are so many solutions that are available these days, end to end, which are taking care of making the products visible, to showing the people their personalized ads through their personalized channels. So that is one thing on the marketing side, which digital transformation need to play a major role. There is other thing, like data. How are these companies, they are managing their promotions? How are they customizing those based on people preference? How are they displaying their products in a store? The planograms that are getting designed. That's another area where data is really playing a big role, and every organization need to see how do they organize their data, because it is growing at an exponential speed. So organizing and accessing that to get meaningful analytics is very important. Then other area which I would like to touch base is the agriculture. Many of these FMCGs, they are dependent on the raw materials. How are we using technology to get a better crop yield? Partnering with farmers, there are so many digital these products that are available based on IoT, which can help us in the agriculture space to get better forecast of the yield and optimize the yield. And then it is also, IoT based platform, which are used in our manufacturing area, especially in making our products of look high quality, temperature sensors, which help us to ensure that our products are getting manufactured at some quality standards. So that is another area. So overall, if everything you say, from marketing to manufacturing to shipping the products, designing those smart routes, everywhere technology is playing a very big role, and organizations need to tap to this all these capabilities. Yeah, that's from my side.
Thank you so much. So since you have started using that the mode of this ordering and all, so I remember one real story wherein in 2018 and 19, I remember that since that Samsung have a large size of distribution process in all over, globally, but even India, it's one of the big market. So we were in discussion to integrate our customer call center with a WhatsApp in 2018 and 19. I remember very well that we have tried to get the API to integrate our system along with the WhatsApp, and there were lots of challenges at that time. And then suddenly in 19 and 20, those all doors were open, and things are very fast moving toward that, taking that input through WhatsApp, and the overall is definitely, it's a customer experience matters a lot. So that now people are definitely want to do the things very handy. So even though if you are driving and you want to order something in your car, voice order or kind of things, and if you are getting appropriate response, then that time also you can utilize going to your office for 30-40 minutes, right? So that's really a good point, Vipin. I definitely I'll take some more input onto it from Kapil. So Kapil, if you are here, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hi. So I definitely I would like to take your opinion into it, and definitely that would be something, which we will bring in something in a new aspect.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for this, Dharmendra. So I was just listening to Vipin and remembering my Pepsi days. So those days when you would had you did buy, make, move, sell. So pretty predominantly, if you do that in FMCG or manufacturing space, you handle the entire the life cycle. However, then comes your mobility and also could be supply chain and other stuff that we automated, which goes to say that that's how any FMCG will be working. But having said that, moving on to alco bev business was a huge change, and tried to get those best practices into the organization without. And the first comment that was given was, Kapil, there are 30 different ways of selling in India. Each state has 4 ways. So first learn that, then give solutions. So I was like, okay, coming from ACC, Ambuja, 9+ countries, handling cement space and Pepsi in the past. So what's different? But then I realized it's entirely different, because since 1950, alco bev is treated so differently. Pandemic did bring in a lot of changes in terms of certain could we actually sell directly or online? We can't. Even one bottle cannot move out of the plant without the excise control. So that's a kind of different way of working that's there. But at the same time, even and you not all the outlets are owned by government agencies indirectly. But you need to know the market pulse, you need to know the schemes, you need to roll it out. All that you were doing professionally with certain applications available, you have to do it very, very differently. So technology has to be used, government norms have to be looked at, and we have to compete with the market, we have to compete with international organizations. It's I think IT plays a huge role there. So I would not say a different way of getting into the market, but at the same time, looking at AI plays a big role. Analytics and also getting the market pulse itself is difficult. So it's not just that. So I remember the cola wars. Those days it was, at least we found it very complex, but that looks much simpler now. With what's happening in alco bev space. But so technology does play a huge role, and also in manufacturing space, like Vipin said, talking about automation, looking at IoT solutions. I mean, also your line monitoring solutions. All these have hugely adopted technologies, and that actually has ensured that if a production line does 36,000 bottles an hour, what equipment goes slow, and why do we need so many people to manage the sites? Example, coming back again from the cement space, the plant gets managed in India by 700 people across, whereas China does the same thing with 70 people. That's a huge difference. So how do we ensure that we utilize our manpower in the right way and ensure that our productivity is high and people are not just doing mundane jobs, but doing much more work. That's what has been way of working. And now that the company is part of Heineken has acquired maximum shares, the 80 shares that got sold. So the huge integration happening with Heineken is actually getting us to adopt IT technology in a big way, and digital is playing a huge role, and getting global practices onto, and also we get a chance to do an India story as well. It's other way around, that getting what was done in the past lives, sharing those experiences, and probably the global work can happen from here. Pepsi has got their the IT work happening from Hyderabad now. So similarly, the previous organization we had put up in Lafarge also must set up in India to do entire AMEA region. So maybe Heineken has to follow that, because that's the way globalization will help, and technology will help these organizations do stuff from countries like India. So that's But for that, we have to make ourselves more visible in global scenario internally in the organizations, plus also showcase what we have done differently compared to other global organizations. So I think that's a journey we have to take.
Correct. So I totally agree with you, and keeping this part, I just wanted to understand one thing, because you are there in this manufacturing sector and all. And I remember initially when people were talking about the robotics on the production line and all those areas, that acceptance was not that high. Even people were thinking that this may reduce that employment and all other areas. Even still the large companies were accepting that well, and they were deploying it. But now I can see, even though small manufacturing organizations also demanding that and accepting that well comparatively. So what would you like to share some experience in this area, Kapil?
Yeah, so I would just give an example of line monitoring system that got implemented in one of the plants, and now it's getting implemented in 3 more. So the same set of team used to actually not understand why, the bottle breakages are happening, or why the particular equipment is not manufacturing till the maximum it is supposed to, and what on the line is going wrong, and it will be analysis done. And today you have a solution which actually tells them proactively what they're supposed to do in the shift, what went. The next shift guy comes in, and he gets the data of what went wrong in the previous shift, and how each equipment performed, and what steps were taken. So that way, same set of people are able to, and same line was able to give almost a 27% higher productivity. Same set of people were doing that. I'm not saying people got reduced, but company benefited hugely. 27% of higher productivity is not small on the same line.
Right.
And that was because those visibility on those points, and these are all proprietary stuff, and there are organizations who are working in India as well. So we actually went ahead with the key German proprietary organizations, but now I'm talking to certain Indian companies as well. Like you said, a lot of Indian companies are doing that. So when you have a line in India, it actually has equipments from various manufacturers and not commonly from one manufacturer. So you have to have feed coming in from all equipment. So I think that's example I wanted to give in case of manufacturing. Also, in cement space, you used to have a huge challenge that if a kiln actually is brought down, to get it up, a cement plant takes almost 15 days to make it fully production up. But plant used to be brought down twice a year. That was kind of maintenance work that used to happen. So after doing that, putting in IoT sensors and putting in proper proactive monitoring there, we were able to get the plant down only once in a year, and that got huge productivity for the organization, which was, minuscule amount of investment done compared to the kind of production impact. So I'm talking about 25,000 crore of turnover of ACC Ambuja. So if those 34 plants are brought down only once a year, imagine what kind of productivity we're talking about.
Correct. Thank you so much, Kapil. I think this would be a very good insight for us. Although I personally do not have that core manufacturing factory level of experience, but definitely in digitization we can bring it more, and definitely we will come back on this topic maybe again once we'll finish further based on the questions which we are going to attend. So now moving toward, see, if we are talking about the influence, technologies influencing and all, then definitely we need to understand the one things about the key drivers, right? That is definitely required, but the key driver to speed up this digital transformation. So if we talk about the key drivers, even though while we are talking internally, we are discussing in the conference room, then there are the few fixed, I would say, key drivers which we used to talk about, not only in this digital transformation, but anyway in all other areas as well, like people, process, technology, and of course data. right? Data is also playing a very key role these days in this transformation areas. So definitely I need to bring the other panelists in this area. So I would like to request Praveen, if you want to share something on this key driver to speed up this digital transformation, and then we'll move further to Aswani.
Yeah, thanks, Dharmendra. Yeah, we have, I think, touched upon on the majority of what happens in the manufacturing and what happens in the current innovation in the current technology space. So I would like to uh, uh, give focus on the key drivers to speed up this digital transformation in our industry. Is bridging the gap between the internal and the external processes. Okay, where wherever possible, we need to see that the automation is happening and the data synchronization is happening between the internal process and the external process. Like, see, when I talk about internal processes, where we have our ERP and CRM and other things which are working, where our management cadre is actually working on it, and the external processes where our the sales force who are working on the field. So we need a data synchronization in between them, so that they will also have the knowledge that what is happening internal. And the second thing which I would like to say is that the key factor here is the communication. Okay, we need to make it seamless, right? Either we need to make it our Salesforce, our geo modules, all these have to be introduced to make our communication streamlined. Okay, the automated loyalty programs should be there in their SFA mobile apps, and to increase their reach. Okay, increase their reach on the complete e-commerce area. Okay, so apart from these two, I would also like to see that the organizations are putting emphasis on the field sales. Now they are the key people who are actually interacting with the market, okay, with the retailers, with the end customers. So they should have the complete coverage of what my products there, my product range, my future product plan, my policies, schemes, and everything. So that knowledge should be there with our field sales people. Okay, so which can speed up our business. And these people also should have a complete information on the selling scenarios. Like, see, the consumer behaviors are changing. Okay, and we need to sense that kind of behavior and try to leverage it. The organizations which take rapid action on these will be the first comers, and who can have their space occupied with their compared to their competitors. So I think these are the 2-3 things which we need to focus, so that the speed can be increased and we can be ahead of our competition.
Thank you so much, Praveen. Even though if we look at this, as you have mentioned, mobility and all other things, definitely that customer experience also, as we have mentioned, it's a very key factor. And as in live example, if we look at this in current situation, so while the person, even though if you have a good backlog and you have a good support to move toward the business part, and you have no experience in this area, earlier that people were not that much ready to move in that area, and because of availability issues, maybe competitions and so many other things were there, and they were not able to go into the open market, right? That was the one concern. Even if we talk about, not definitely not on a very large organization, so if we talk about the small business, even though I can see in if you go somewhere in the tier 3 or tier 4 cities, you can find that people have started selling their product through the app. They are taking the orders through the app, and they have started distributing those products through the app. One thing which I still I think that customer benefit is not going properly, wherein the distribution cost, which already have been cut down a lot because moving through the e-commerce portal, that benefit is still I don't see it's fully uh, you know uh, provided to the consumer as of now. So if I talk about, suppose there was a 6 or 7 or 8% profit were there into the middle layers, the distribution part, that benefit is still not going toward that in consumer hand. Maybe a little bit 1 or 2% is going there, but still, I mean, the companies and the organizations are not opening in that area. I think that is the one part which I definitely we would like to bring into it, and we'll discuss further. But before moving ahead, I would like to invite Ashwini also on the same topic to share his opinion.
Thanks, Dharmendra. And as Praveen has covered most of the key drivers, however, I would like to see key drivers for digital transformation is customer. So what your customer sentiment is, what customer required, what customer feel about the product, what type, see, today's customer want the experience of Amazon and Flipkart from you. So you want that. So if at all you are into the B2B or B2C space, you have to ensure that your end product reach to the customer and your customer voice reach to you. Days gone where the customer used to go to dealer, then dealer used to go to distributor used to go to the manufacturer. No, now if you want today's scenario to survive, though you have a channel of distributor, dealer and all, but you need to ensure that how through technology you connect to your end customer directly. Though your sales cycle will be B2B, B2C or whatever, but customer sentiment, how you capture in, that is where the necessity of digital transformation comes, where you want through the technology, whether it is a through mobile app or through the different technology platform, I would say with different platform, you want to connect to your customer. So I give an example. Previously our customer used to give a complaint by calling just call center, and then today we have given them a 5 options: go to speak to text, go to our website, go to different for WhatsApp. There are 5 to 6 options we have provided them to even register their complaint, their warranty, their NPS score we monitor. So we want to ensure that even replacement, etc. Also, we want to ensure that our customer receives the goods. He is always get the service at par with Amazon. That's what or Flipkart. That's what we want. We ensure all the time. And the second or digital transformation need comes because of our internal process. So internal processes also need to be, now where the response time is very important. Like, previously each of your process has its own processing time. But today, as the market is very demanding, the business dynamics are changing constantly. The strategy which was working last year won't work even in this season. So every season, every 3 months, you have to revisit your strategy. The moment you start revisiting your strategy, all comes to finally the IT or the technology intervention. So any of your business ideas, whether it's a new idea or change or alter the existing process, comes to the again to the technology intervention, where you have to either go for a quick, and again, as I told you, every digital transformation project now expectation is shorter, agile, and you have to deliver quickly. You can't take 6 to 8 months of digital transformation project. That much even no one is interested. Everyone want to see what you can deliver in weeks rather than month. So these are the key drivers. As the business dynamics are changing, that has impacted the external and internal processes of organization. These are the key drivers for digital transformation. So there is no way, I mean, there is no, whether it's a small size, mid size or large size of company, digitization, digital transformation is a need of the hour for them to sustain into the market.
Correct, Ashwini. So one thing is very clearly what I understood, and you have rightly mentioned. I think even though if we talk about that this distribution, e-commerce currently exists in the globally or in even in India also, you can pick any top brand, and you can find that people will prefer to go to the regular and most demanding e-commerce website rather going to that company website. Right. That the region you clearly mentioned that's the region maybe that is people are more friendly with it, and they are very, I mean, they are treating as an one of the part of routine in the day, right? So they can open easily that app, they can order anything, they can, and they can track it very
Yes.
easily, right? So that is the one part. Definitely, I really wanted to bring it here, that even though you can talk about any top brands, their own e-commerce website may not be there in the market on that level, but their product is getting sold by another e-commerce site, and the surprising part, even they were getting in the lower price the same thing on that portal, but their own portals, the range is comparatively high.
Yeah, that is the reason, like, how to bring crowd back to our
Correct.
own site, where you have a Flipkart or Amazon players are there, and their response time is very fast, because they are this technology what they use, they have a AI, ML, everything is bot is there. So even simple to track your order at each level. If you just compare your own website versus the Amazon, definitely Amazon has a, you can get minute to minute status of the where your good is lying.
Correct.
And
Correct.
customer
Correct.
expect the same when you go, they comes to your site.
Yes, even though the customer experience, Sonia, I would like to share one incident even yesterday. There was some routine RT-PCR checkup as I was supposed to join some meeting personally with the leadership. So we all have thought, let's go with RT-PCR to avoid the risk at the last moment. And we have I called somebody near to my house to come and take the sample, and then I called around 2 o'clock, and he said, sir, I'm available at 5 o'clock and I'll get your report by tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Okay. Then I just share with someone, and he said, hey, why don't you try this app? So there was the one app. I don't know it is allowed to share it here or not. So even though I opened it, I found the slot just 30 minutes after, even though I don't know how they are managing this on that large scale. Just in the 30 minutes after that person reached at my home, he bring that sample, and by 11:30 or 12 o'clock in the midnight, I got my report. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and that was really a very good things, and I was easily I was able to register myself given all the details, and then he came, he took that sample from the stair even not inside, and so that really I and in future, if I would have any such plan even for my family, friend, or somebody, I'll prefer that rather calling that local guy to come and take the sample. So this is really a very good part which you have brought it here.
Practo is a live example. See, Practo, any city of the India, do you want doctor, you get through Practo, where you get the appointment, you get the time, you get the slot, end of the day, they charge you and everything. I mean, you get your history.
Right. So even though the study which I chose, it was Orange Health or something, they are serving in Bangalore and Gurgaon only, and they were very fast. I mean, I really appreciate them. They were very fast, and they have executed. Otherwise, if you go these days for RT-PCR and all, because of so many requests is there, so many samples they are collecting in a day, because of this number is growing day by day, and the reports are really they are responding a day or two later, right? But yeah,
But
that's really
Dharmendra,
good.
just 1 minute, I take another example.
Yeah, please.
You see Grofer now call it Blinkit. Promise
Right.
30-minute delivery. 9:30 you order, 10 o'clock night they deliver to you. 10 o'clock you order, 8 o'clock morning they deliver to you.
Correct.
See, 30-minute delivery.
Correct. Even though if you go back a little bit, I think 6 months or a year back, then the other similar, e-commerce site like Big Basket or something,
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
leading, but suddenly the grocers came with this, fast delivery thing, and now they are in leader in urban cities at least, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They are doing really well.
Every society you find their boards. Now
Correct.
society, they have put hoarding 30-minute delivery. They take so extra care that if you order some, let's say butter, they come with some ice box and deliver you. And so, it's too caring, to be honest with you. So while they are delivering, so Big Basket, just 2 months down, this grocer has now started capturing the market.
Correct. Uh, moving on to the next part.
Sure.
So definitely, if we talk about the drivers as we have discussed in detail, thanks Ashwin and Praveen. Now I'm moving on a next part. So if we talk about that digital, transformation and all, definitely we have to look at the business perspective, right? How to leverage this technology in top line and bottom line both for the growth point of view, right? So I would like to invite Bipin to share his opinion and insight onto it. Bipin, you there?
I think she left due to some urgent meeting.
So it was Bipin Rustogi, not Bipin Luthra. So Bipin Luthra,
Okay.
I think she has left. Okay, no problem. So anyone of you want to take this point, that disruptive technology in top line and bottom line growth?
Okay, Dharmendra, let me try to again elaborate.
Yeah,
When
sure,
it comes
please.
to the top line, it is that the technology like AI, ML, blockchain, 3D printing, IoT, these are the technology initiatives we need to use to ensure that how we reach to the maximum, how you can expand your business in terms of different approach, like whether it's you want to go to B2B, you want to go to B2C. In B2B also, let's say you will divide your, again you wanted to reach to the, let's say I give an example like family store, regional stores. You want to reach approach to the institutional, and then when I'm giving the example, then again there is a innovative way to approach this. The example, if I, let's say, if I want to sell our product to the institutional, probably I will have to approach the institutional, give them a digital experience by, let's say, some from cards, those scratch card they can use, they get some discount, something like that. So what I wanted to say that how you so top line, just by appointing the distributor or dealer won't increase because this is a traditional way. The top line, now if you want to work on the top line, if you want to, then you have to go for some sort of let us say how to forecast the demand. So to even forecast the demand also, you require some historical sales, some algorithm. Then based on that, you can predict that which area what you need and all. And again, then the replenishment part of it. And then once you replenish, also you have to ensure that through technology, that how and when and how quick you deliver to the customer. So typically this with a lot of innovative ideas, you can approach to the market and you can improve the top line by different technology in different platform, different technology interventions and all. When it comes to bottom line, the disruptive thinking mainly on the indirect expenses, because how the bottom line key contribution is that how, what is your process cost or what is your operation cost, and to improve the operation cost, you will have to start working on the efficiency, how to improve the efficiency of process by going for a process automation, cut down the unnecessary process optimization. So this exercise also through technology, through change management, through business process re-engineering, you can take it up. So this is how, but all require is key is think out of the box. Traditional thinking won't work. So any and every disruptive idea, there is some resistance, there is a change management required. But by end of the day, those who has the organization has inclination towards the change management or adoption of the new practices, whether there only you can play around. See, technology is a one aspect, tool is one aspect, but the people is another aspect. So you have to also ensure that the change management aspect also is well taken care into that. So this is my, I mean, opinion on this.
Great. Thank you so much, Aswin. So I totally agree. Let me summarize this little bit in a same way as you have mentioned. So definitely, as you have mentioned, that branding and printing like 3D and all is really very important to uh, 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 derive this. And then digital marketing is another key factor which is really very demanding and moving ahead. Connectivity is one point, as we have taken an example of that growers and other things, that connectivity is also playing a very key role in this area. AI/ML is always, if we talk about that technology and all, AI/ML is playing a very key role, to move further on, in technology aspect. And definitely, if we talk about AI/ML and all, automation and robotics also would be a part of it, right? So I totally agree with you, and we have already discussed on these points in the previous discussion. But yes, I bring it that branding part is really, as mentioned by Bipin in our first conversation, that जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So that is really a very baseline, if we talk about, and this is going till end, and that I think that would be a very in demanding position. So yes, so moving toward on the next point, if we talk about, see, as we have discussed on other aspect, like how technology influencing, then the key drivers, then leveraging this technology in top and bottom line. But yes, even though in a technology part also, as we know, the customer experience is a key factor. But one thing I totally I'm with you, Ashwin, that you have mentioned that now we do not have a scope to make a plan for 3, 4, or 5 year, right? That anyway, I think it's no more available. We have to make our plan maybe in every 3, 6 months or a year, because whatever you are implementing today, this may going to be obsolete soon, maybe after 6 months or a year, depending on the competition in the market, right? So keeping that part in our mind, we definitely would like to discuss more, focusing on the customer experience, how this technology and innovation is changing it. So Praveen, would you like to share your thought and experience in this area?
Yeah, Dharmendra. Uh, See, innovation, when we talk about, like, in every area, like, that anyway boosts our, current status. Okay. So here in this context, when we say, like, when we talk about the speed and the agility, right? So here again, the innovation we are seeing in other industries. Okay. So lot has been, done in, say, I would like to take one example of the big giants of car manufacturers. I just wanted to, bring that to here. If we can just, use that use case into our FMCG. So, the Mercedes, okay, they have developed an app, okay, wherein the whole lot of the manual, that car manual, we never read. It's a bulky and huge, right? So they made an app, and then that they made it a simplified thing, and you don't have to read it, and whichever things you need to see, you just have to just go there and just uh, get the glimpse of it. Okay. And they have improved that in kind of, you can get everything of your car or everything of your driver information is there in that app. Okay. So in the similar lines, there are other big players like Ford has also developed, I think their app is like a Ford app or Ford Pass app. Okay. So similar grounds. and even the BMWs also made a app of that kind. And I think their differentiating factor was they have added AR into it. Okay, the augmented reality, and you can view the inside of the car if you're outside, and then if wherever you are, okay, you can just see what is happening inside your car. So that is how they made that app so custom that you don't have to depend on so many factors like in earlier traditional way. Okay, so this is one of it. And on the innovation front, I would also like to add upon you know uh, uh, in these days we are also seeing that the QR code which is there. Okay, so people are using a lot with the QR code, like the beer companies. I think one of the beer companies is I am not recalling the name of the company, but they have utilized it to play some kind of games and engaging their customers, and they made a complete gamification in that. Even there is a link to order, and it can come to your place. I mean, you don't have to again go with this Amazons or the Flipkarts of the world that you have to order there. You can just order from there itself. So they are playing with these these Q code where they are trying to make everything possible in there itself. Like, say if it's a bottle and then there is a QR code there, you can scan it and then you will get all the information, right? So these are some of the innovations which are happening outside FMCG. So maybe we can also try to utilize these into our space. Like the VR and the AR is too much talked about technologies these days, right? So I think that's one point I would like to emphasize.
Hey, thank you so much, Praveen. So definitely, if we talk about the experience, right? Earlier, as we have discussed even in our, just before this, along with Ashwin and other members. So and as you have also rightly highlighted those points. So these days, if we talk about the experience, like you can see this, what is called our AI devices which is there at our home, like Alexa, Google Talk, and all, they are really very going very fast in globally. And so wherein we understood one thing, that voice kind of experience is always in a demand, wherein the things can be easily can be input and need not to open the things and need not to experience their navigation and all. That is the one part which I totally agree with this pointers which you have highlighted. Another thing, omni channel, as we know, right? Although it is started a little back, but the acceptance was not on that high level. However, because of this COVID or I mean, demand or push, whatever way it is, but now it's very well in acceptance. Mobility was also growing slowly, but now people are liking this, because we can see, right, that our old model phones and devices is almost not there, maybe very rarely available, and few of the organizations even stopped manufacturing those kind of devices. People are running with this smart devices in hand, even not in urban cities, tier 2 and tier 3. Even if you go to tier 4 and village also, it's very they may not have that branded one, but obviously they have some smartphone in their hand, and they are very keen and very friendly with, even though if they cannot read it clearly, right, that English word and all. Then moving that friendly, obviously that would be one thing. One part which I really would like to bring here, that earlier when we were talking about the content, right, the content part is, I think it's in the last stage, and we are ready to say goodbye. Now we are moving in a digital experience rather going on a content basis, right? As rightly mentioned in our previous examples also, we don't want to understand, I mean, read the content what you have written and all. And Praveen, you have also brought that here as an example of BMW and other things, right? So that is really a one very good point, and that is bringing a lot in terms of the customer experience, right? In another area, if we talk about the analytics and all, we can define in a few very key point of view that if we talk about descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive, right? These analytics drivers will give the better customer experience in terms of the design and delivery. I think that is the most in demand in the market, right? So I really wanted to discuss little bit in the area of this customer experience, going to little more deep down into it. So is anybody would like to take the question about the how this voice technology and other part like omni-channel mobility and all, which one would be there in another 4 5 year in the demand? That is the one thing which comes in my mind, and I thought I'll definitely would like to discuss with you all. What do you think? Even though in current situation, if we talk about the this Alexa and all, at least 10 to 15% or 20% they are not able to recognize properly, right? At that time we were missing those calls, right? When we were calling to the customer care and we explained them in our language and they understood, and accordingly they were responding on to it. But now things are getting changed. Even those 15%, 10% or 20%, whatever rejection is there, what do you think? How can we move into it, and how can we reduce that part going forward to bring that voice input as in leading, or after certain period of time people will move in a old part which we have already left?
So I let Dharmendra. My experiences or my opinion is that it's a learning curve. Technology also, learn in a due course. So let's say today your rejection is 30-40%. If you see the trend, it's gradually reducing. And it's the learning process, like that we go on tweaking the technology, we go on tweaking simple where you go to the robotics process automation. Initially, let's say any process, I take an example of invoice processing, you have a 60% throughput. Next year it go on improving. Similarly here also, this is going to be a learning cycle. Well, every quarter, as the time goes, this is improving. Second, I don't think I'm strongly even believing that even after 2 years the things will come that people will say, give me a phone, I want to give a customer call. No, they definitely say, where is a mobile app, where is it? So now mobility and this new way of or innovative way of doing the business or communication is going to stay. It is not only for pandemic, even post pandemic also this will be continue. It's not that, because see today also, let us say, you don't think that tomorrow people who has a good experience of groper will run or will go to market and start buying the things. No, they will continue to grow, and even they will stick to groper, or they will look some better service from groper rather than uh, Grover is an example. So that's what I said. The let's say e-commerce platform. Once someone has a habit of buying from e-commerce platform, it won't happen that he will one day say, now everything is fine, let me go to the market and start buying the things. This is not. So this customer, it won't be reversible. It will be more and more toward the technology driven buying. Like as I told you, like go to paper fry. Or let's say paper fry is an example I'm taking. So where furniture you can rotate to 360-degree. You can see they have come up with AI where you can, you can see how the furniture looks like into that specific spot. And again, 10 days of replacement policies that if you don't like, they will take it back. In this condition, who would like to go and, get the things, buying physically to go to market and buy the things. So this is, I think this will be the future. Like the way maybe technology will be the future in whether it's a purchasing or sell.
Great. So
Dharmendra,
I totally agree. Yeah, please.
I just want
Praveen.
to add one point to what Ashwin has said. I think the thing has changed from the pushing to the pulling part. Okay, now it's not that the marketing or the branding which we need to push, like those days are gone. Okay, now we have to be present digitally, and we have to be ready with what Ashwini sir also has mentioned, like in the earlier discussion, that with 4 or 5 means he is ready with his product, right, with the services. So that is the approach. It has to be that we have to put ourselves on the digital world, and then we have to be ready. I mean, because people nowadays, whenever they go and purchase something, they do a digital search. They first try to search in the Amazons or the Flipkarts, and then they go for the purchase. Maybe I'll just give one more example of this MTR or some, those are not available in these stores, right? And then only you go to that space and then to their own app, and then you order, because you will not get the actual products in these generic stores, online stores. So that is what is important. Like we need to put ourselves, and then it's actually the pull based. Like customer, whenever he wants, he will try to check what is available in online for you, right?
Correct, Praveen. I remember one one line was there in 2007 and 8 made by Samsung when they have started capturing that market in India, and they have launched one very basic phone called Guru. Guru was the one of the, I would say, milestone when the Samsung was launched. And then there was the one line over there, what next? Right? So I really, whenever I'm getting such topics and trying to discuss onto it and trying to understand a little bit, then the one thing comes in a mind. Okay, now voice is there, omni-channel is there, IoT is there, robotics is there, and gradually we are improving. What do you think, Ashwini and Praveen? What next?
I think
yeah.
I think we have seen the now the era of Alexa and Siri, and these chatbots are already there. Okay, this is like it's part of our life now. I mean, any bank app or anything we just touch upon, then there is a chatbot. So these are there. Okay, so with this, with the ML also is coming and AI also is coming. So I think the next level is that we have to predict what customer wants. Okay, rather than a customer placing an order and then we are serving them. So that is, which is the current era which is happening. I think the next stage is that which even I think Amazons are already doing that. They when we make a call, or with the true caller or something like that, they give us our the preferences which we have done our last shopping. So that they are working up. I think that is going to be the future, and that's going to continue with other organizations as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Praveen. The sentiment analysis of customer and predictability is very important, where you know that you should predict that what your customer want, when he want, how he want, and then you as a company or as a seller have to meet his expectation, because today the youth is not even buying from Amazon and Flipkart. They have their own different e-shop for buying. So They are more on Insta rather than anything else. So what I would say that his buying behavior need to understand, and then and you have to be like, you see Amazon is giving delivery same day, or even maximum in next day they are giving the delivery. So this is how possible, because they predict the time you visit the store but you don't buy. They make sure that the same good is shipped or to the nearest warehouse. So even you make your decision 2 days the down, then also they offer you delivery on same day. How this is happening? You put something in your cart, so they know that you are going to buy today or tomorrow. So they make sure that necessary logistic and make sure that that is available for you to faster delivery compared to the other e-com player. And that's how the things are. Same day delivery is also nowadays possible in electronic goods for Amazon.
Correct. I totally agree with you, Praveen and Ashwin. Even I was thinking a same aspect. Now we have a technology and things, but even though our AI and ML will work on the data, right? So collecting those data is very important factor. It is really hard to decide what would be the next in another 3-4 years. Maybe we can decide for a year or two, but definitely capturing that the behavior of the customers based on the historical data will play a key role. So maybe the future market is going to grow in that data segment anyway. It's already on a very high level, but that would be much more demanding in the future to play on the data, right? So that is really, I think we all three is there in this panel so far, and other has some urgency and they have left. But I really enjoyed a lot to discuss with you all, and I would like to move toward Eldon, maybe Priyanka would be there. So Priyanka, we are I think little over time. So if you have some question you would like to share with us, we definitely would like to attend them. And
Yeah, sure. So we have some audience question also, and first question is from Mr. Sanjay Rawal. He's asking, what are the digital opportunities in FMCG to support high growth?
okay, that's good. So Ashwin or Praveen, would you like to take this? Anyone?
Praveen, you will take it.
Yeah. So can you just have the question again? I just missed it.
Yeah, sure. The question is, what are the digital opportunities in FMCG to support high growth?
Okay. So see, in this FMCG, the one big thing which needs to happen is SCM. Okay, the supply chain. So there is a very big opportunity in the supply chain front. Okay, where we need to improve upon our say the transportation part. Like as we already discussed this in the early discussions, like how we can improve our turnaround time, and then how we can reduce our warehouses, and how we can minimize the time to reach the customer. So SCM plays a very big role, and the all the automations. We talk about big giants who have come up with their cloud presence in this particular space. Okay, with the demand sensing, or with IBPs. So all these things under the chain of supply chain, I think it's a boom for growth. So I think here the digital space has grown a lot, and there is a lot more scope.
Yeah, and adding to what Praveen says, the other area is the forecast. So, the accurate forecast based on the historical sales and predictability, and that is also one space where one has to work, that which area of which geography, because our India is a very big country. So buying pattern of each place is based on the historical and seasonal factors. How you predict the accurate or near to accurate forecast, and how you ensure that with a minimum time you replenish the things. So this is also one digital transformation opportunity along with the supply chain.
Yeah, thank you, Ashwin. So I just add one more, which is just we understood it, so it's a very common thing. But cybersecurity would play a very key role in all these, as we all are exposed on the in this digital platform. So cybersecurity is also would be very demanding things in near future, even though it is there in the current situation, but it will grow very high based on the growth in the this digital transformation in FMCG sectors. Yes, Priyanka. So moving on the next point, would you like to share some more
Yeah.
queries?
Yes, sir. Next is question is from Mr. Ashish Srivastav. He's asking, is the consumer goods industry ready for the new world of work?
So this is a really very good question, and I'll put little bit my experience into it, but I'll definitely take a little opinion from Ashwin and Praveen. So see, now this is not a situation that we are ready or not, as I mentioned in our initial discussion. This is the demand, and we have to be ready for it. I think as we have initially started our discussion, saying that the e-commerce and this online demand of the goods and all were not on the label when people used to accept it easily. Earlier, the people were ready to go to the site and look at the loose dals कि वो दाल कैसी होगी, how can we, is it good or not, and they were not believing on the packed one. So now this is not a situation of this readiness, rather this is the demand, and we have no choice at all. To be very frank, we don't have choice. Okay, so like in India, we all have learned a lot in this demonetization about the queue. So wherever we are going, we have to keep a very queue properly, that people will not rush and block to other. In the similar way, this COVID gives that kind of I would say, I definitely don't want to say that this is an good thing. Definitely, COVID is not a good thing. But looking at this stage, this is an opportunity to build ourselves and move toward in the new era and new technologies based on the actual demand to the market. So Ashwin and Praveen, would you like to add on top of it?
Yeah, you are right. I think as you says now, the buying pattern of the consumer is changing, and because of that, all industries has to be ready. There is no option. Those who are not ready won't able to have a you won't able to survive in the business, because as he says, when you are buying something now, what you are seeing is the ratings on the app, that whether he's giving the dal example, the same dal example, I have a 5 dal choice. I won't be asking price, but I will be asking what is the rating he has got out of 5, and I am
Correct.
buying. So
Correct.
so the companies has to be ready with, and that is only the way out. And there is a competition also now. Customer has a competition for each and every goods. They have got a multiple choice. So, and to sustain into multiple choice, you have to make sure that your quality is good, your availability, and and your customer experience. So how your customer experience of using your product, and that is the way, as I talked previously, that every company, whether you are selling directly to your customer or through distributor, trying to reach to end customer and understand the pulse of the my customers. Yeah, this is my side.
Correct. So just answer more precisely on this. So earlier, when people were thinking to head count in the organization, they were targeting the IT team first, keeping in a mind that data can be maintained in the Excel. But now trend has been changed. So now they are keeping that this technology skilled resources on top, and they have to ready, and they don't have choice. It's something kind of do or die. So this is really a very good question, and I think that large player are really fully ready because they have started and they had their bank balance Even earlier also they have started into it, but the small players, they have to now, whenever they were thinking about the business, they are thinking about the technology first before moving in other areas. So I believe they were ready, but yes, the small players may cut down gradually as the market is going to be safe in a proper way in coming maybe 3 or 4 years down the line. Yeah, Priyanka.
Yeah, so the last question is from Ms. Sneha. She's asking, what are the fundamental components for a next generation transformation in consumer goods?
Okay, okay. So I think I'm not very sure about your question, Priyanka. Would you like to repeat this or?
Yeah, sure. We have like, what are the fundamental components for a next generation transformation in consumer goods?
Okay, okay, that's good. So Praveen, would you like to take this little bit and then I'll join you?
Yeah, sure. See, we already discussed about the predictive, analysis and the customer behavior. Okay, and the sensing what is their need and what could be their need, rather to say this as a statement. That predictive analysis will help us, and that is going to be the future. And this FMCG is all about see I just wanted to add one more line that the pandemic, we have seen, I mean, it's more than 2 years now, that all the industries, they have learned a lot. Okay, and we are now know that how to manage in this kind of environment, right? So we have learned, and this type of environment can be dealt very with ease. Okay, and I think that is one thing I want to add, that predictive is something which is going to be the future.
Correct, Praveen. As you have mentioned, definitely this would be the future, and this will be helpful for a person to even take the decision quickly. And I think forecasting part was also mentioned by Ashwin in our previous question. So I think these would be the key factors going forward. Yeah, Priyanka.
That's all for the question.
Thank you so much. I really would like to thanks
Thank you.
Praveen and Ashwin for being here for full time. So yeah. So thank you, and I really enjoyed this. I would like to take this up for, we may can discuss for another 1 hour or 2 hours on this topic. It's a very, I would say very large area wherein we can bring our experience into it, but because of this time constraint, we don't have choice. So thank you very
Thank you.
much, Ashwin
Thank you so much.
and
Thanks,
Praveen.
Thank you,
Dharmendra.
leaders, for sharing your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much,
Bye bye.
Priyanka and Eldon
Bye.
team.
Before
Thanks a
going,
lot.
before going, I request everyone to have a smile so that we can capture this moment.
Acha.
So fortunately, my face is a smiley face.
No, we always smile.
Yeah. So this one thing we have learned in IT.
Always smile.
Always smile.
Any situation, smile.
Yeah, always smile. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone.
Priyanka.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you,
Take care.
Dharmendra. Yeah.
Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
Moving further, we have another panel for the day, and the topic is explosion of digital technology in manufacturing. Today, 100 plus CXO and 300 plus attendees are watching this live on our website. Here I call the moderator, Mr. Rajkumar from RPG Group, Deepak Sen Gupta from Tata Steel, Sudhir Ganvinde from the Supreme Industry, Jayanta Momik from Kesuram Industry, Atin Agarwal from Karam Industry, and Govind Singh from Dalmia Group. I request Mr. Rajkumar to take over the discussion.
Thanks, Priyanka, and good afternoon, guys, and good afternoon, Govind Singh ji, Atin, and Namrata. I think I think the digital transformation is something which has become the need of the day for almost all the organizations, including, we don't need to specifically talk about manufacturing in particular, but I think we have to integrate these digital technologies into processes and products to increase the manufacturing efficiency and quality. So there are a lot of prime focuses, mostly the organizations and particularly manufacturing organizations have, is to increase the operational efficiencies and reduce the cost, and also ensuring that the quality products are actually manufactured, and also they should be able to easily respond to the changing market requirements and the customer demands. So I think as a part and parcel of the life, the COVID has actually brought in a lot of priorities for us, particularly ensuring that the operational resilience, well-beings of the working environments, supply chain integrity and resilience, supply chain visibility, improving the operational efficiencies are all some of the priorities which has come up as a key aspects. So there are a lot of key technologies which we, day in, day out utilize in the digital transformation of manufacturing, where we talk about automation systems, robotics, we bring in IIoTs, and helping companies to basically have all these digital transformation things to help us in terms of day-to-day aspects of the business. So I think particularly I had few questions in my mind where I would like to get more insights from the panel over here. Particularly Govindji, I just wanted to hear out from you, and particularly like integrating end-to-end systems is something which is part and parcel of life. And so what kind of technologies, and if you can throw some light on this and give us how you have been utilizing these in your experience and also within your own company right now.
Good afternoon, Rajkumarji and everyone else here. So this is an excellent question actually. So, integration of systems is the biggest area of concern for an IS manager, for an information systems manager there, or for the people who are doing the programming, or for the people who are from the business side, for everyone alike. It's one of the most sensitive area and most complicated area also at times. Now the reason is you plan for the integration of the systems based on your current availability of the tools, about current availability of the business priorities and all that. You plan that out and you design it. Suddenly your priorities change there. Your company can acquire a new organization, your company can diversify in a new area, or maybe get into other kind of business and all. And unless you are able to consume that data within your central repository or within your central mechanism from where you can give a complete visibility of all your businesses, all your plants and all that, you will not be able to do the justice to the business. That's the biggest thing they'll be requiring. And this can be possible only by having a very, very strong integration of various systems there. It can be diversified set of ERPs, it can be OT security related systems and all that, SCADA and all those kind of things there, or it can be many other legacy applications which we are using there. So I would say that, choosing a very, very strong ETL layer, which is platform agnostic, there is no need for us to go for something which works effectively or more effectively, let's say on X platform. Now we need to, if I were to decide on this for my organization, I will be going with something which is completely platform agnostic and completely application agnostic. So that in the future, if there is any requirement of any M&As coming from my organization side, I should be able to integrate their systems into my overall area of operations there. And things like enterprise system bus, ESB as we call it, is there. In a nutshell, if we are able to build a layer of integration which is compatible with virtually any kind of applications, I think half the battle is already won. And after that, it is just a matter of integrating various systems, doing basic controls and measures there to ensure that your source system is integrated. The data from the source system is getting, connected and interface with the target system. There are many algorithms for measuring that part is done properly. And I think that's how one should do it, in my opinion.
Okay. But Govindji, I mean, one thing which I wanted to understand is now, because you are collating data from, various systems and various platforms and all, how do you ensure even, I mean, because today security is also something which is important. So when you're integrating, what kind of steps you normally take so that the data is also getting, from the source systems to the, to the target systems, and plus also when you're looking at data which is coming from various sources, how do you, I mean, what kind of planning you normally do to ensure that security of the data is also taken care, or security of the systems is already taken care?
It's a great question, Rajkumarji. So basically, data security in any environment like this is a prime area of concern there. So one needs to involve their CISO from day one, so that the entire security part is taken care of. All the ports what you are required to be opened. I'm going a little technical there in the details here. So all the ports which are required to be opened on your firewalls, or all the applications which are required to be having an interface there, all the database connections, or all the APIs and all that. Things like using load balancers and all that to ensure that data is coming in real time. Because some of the data will be required to be coming in real time. Some of the data can come at the end of the day or in a batch format and all that. So based on all those things, the data is collated there. Now the entire data is available. Now the other part is that how do you consume that data within the organization? That data which is integrated, which is interfaced and all that. The data is nothing unless it is used as in the form of some meaningful reports. Can you please? Yeah, thanks. So if it is used in some meaningful outcome in some reports, then only it is of use to an organization. Now, the entire data should not be available to everyone and anyone there in the organization. So again, the security aspect will come there in the picture. So one has to define the complete access matrix there, like what kind of access should be given to a head of the department, and then under that, let's say that the regional sales guys are there, and under that some other people are there. So all those kind of things are required to be taken care of. You are on mute.
Yeah. Thanks, Govindji. I think, okay, let me take up. So I think, Athin, if you don't, I mean, I think what are the imperatives of digital transformation activities have you taken up in your company? I think you're on mute.
Yeah. So hi, Raj, and the panel who is onboarded here today for the discussions. I was going through the agenda and looking forward for some discussions and getting the experience from the industry specialists somewhere. Though I would try to contribute from myself also, as in you have asked me from what are the imperatives for the digital transformation and that particular area. So what I feel is, recently I have gone through a paradigm shift for my digital environment, and we all belong to a specific domain of manufacturing. So while we see that somewhere the major challenge for a CIO is to have the digital platform which can cater to all the B2B and B2C environment at the same time, the primary, the tertiary, and the secondary part of the sales and their incentives and all such things, that to be integrated with their sales cloud and whatsoever the ERPs, and as rightly mentioned by Govind, integrated with the MES or some SCADA system somewhere. So this is the major thing which a CIO has to take care of in terms of selecting for an digital platform or the transformation he is trying to do at the organization level. So the imperatives are obviously it might give you the growth what the business is.
Atin, I think you are on mute. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, so I'm saying somewhere the business expectation in terms of investing on the digital platform and getting that revenue back and multifold in terms of the multifold is also a big challenge for the CIO. So obviously all these platforms, if you go for tier one OEMs and ISVs, it is a huge cost. So imperative is, yes, we are looking for the revenues. At the same time, we have to make a balance. Unless it is 1:4 a ratio maintained in terms of the OPEX versus the revenue generated, it's a no-brainer. And at the same time, that whole thing comes on the UI UX part of it. Means how. So look at the Amazon today. Okay, so or look at the Android. I would say today, if it is that user friendly and very customer centric, then obviously you can have that imperatives to be dig out from the environment you are putting in the ecosystem. Otherwise a clumsy thing, or not to be carefully or constantly used platform gives the very big opex to the organization, at the same time does not create that revenue which business is looking at. So that is something which from the digital platform is imperative to have while deputing. That is my opinion.
Okay. Okay. Good to hear that, Atin. So, okay, coming back to this best practices used in the digital transformation journey, I think, Govindji, I think, what's your point of view on this?
Digital transformation is one of the most widely used word there in the IT functions, anywhere in the world, in my opinion, and it is most misused also. So you do many of the times we consider, or we mistake considering merely converting your manual work into automated work, or just do the process change from doing the things manually, and move them to doing the things in a computerized manner or in a digital manner. And we misunderstand that by digital transformation or by digitizing the things. That may not be correct always. I think digital transformation is a journey which is to be led by the business team more than by the IT team. So there are a huge number of changes required to be done, or there may be a huge number of changes required to be done by the business from their side. And hand in hand, IT team should be working with them to see what is the best method to automate the change process. So, like for example, your maintenance function in a manufacturing organization must be taking 10 steps to let's say replace a part of a machine there, and 10 steps means, like, I'm talking about those 10 steps which are there within an ERP application. So you take, create an order and doing all those kind of things there. Now, is it the right way of doing the things? Can it be optimized? How it is being done there in world's best organizations? Now, if that is done there, and if that study is done by the subject matter experts from the business side, I think when and that is transformed into something which gets automated there, that will reap the best benefits to the business there. I think sometimes we miss that out. I've seen in my career in the past also. Sometimes people miss that out, and that is what requires them to do multiple levels of digitization or digital transformation.
Okay, Atin, your point of view?
Yeah, so Raj, I was coming to that. Even if you would not have been asking me directly, I would have said that I want to add to Govind's point somewhere. Yeah, so I completely agree and with Govind. And at the same time, the challenge for CIOs is any IT system is look at in the way in the business is IT ka kaam hai, IT sambhale. So that sort of culture is somewhere a cultural change, is something which holds up an CIO to deliver what he expects from that system someday. The ownership coming from business is not that way, which should come as a team. So obviously the promoter or the top management deploys the system, approves the cost to the CIO, but then the successful implementation also is a teamwork, which no one other than a CIO is eyeing for or looking for. Even for the digital transformation, if you see the sales head, the marketing head, the finance head, they should be part of the team to get that implemented in such a manner that it actually caters to the organization proper way. Otherwise, what happens is it's a sole responsibility of the CIO to go from pillar to post and ask for different, I don't even go to UAT, but at the same time, getting the right requirement, okay, and then getting the right business process, and then getting the right milestones to be delivered. That is the major challenge which a CIO normally faces. At the start of the project, be it digital transformation or integration with ERP or some MES system to be implemented, the expectation is Taj Mahal at the same time, okay. But if you ask them to document it or to give that in the BRD, that does not come in that manner. That looks like a Qutub Minar. Okay, so somewhere I don't see that binding or the marriage of the requirement, the ownership of the business team with the IT fraternity to get that delivered for them.
I agree with you. I think
if I may
yeah.
take 20 seconds to add to what Atin said. See, it has to be a solid collaboration. It has to be a symphony of orchestra there with the business. So business has to develop trust in IT and vice versa, and the responsibility lies with both of the parties there. So sometimes I see that to be fair to the business, now for them, running an ERP system is not their priority. For them, in my organization, their priority is to make cement and sell it there. For us, the priority is to run that ERP system or our BI system and all those kind of things there. Now, how can we make them understand that why running this ERP is vital for their business to run? And once that tango happens, once that collaboration happens, I think then better outcome comes there. And I have seen in my little experience that when we are able to talk to the business in their language while understanding their priorities and all that, we get a better collaboration.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, I 100% agree. And at the same time, like Govindji said, I had also worked for different industries, starting from telcos to the pharmaceuticals to the manufacturing and, conglomerates, all the domains I had touched. At the same time, yes, it should be a symphony. It should be a synergized team. It should be a collaboration. All such things are there, and we try to build them up. And obviously, it's not a business thing to run the ERP or to have that systems in place or to run the BI or AI. But at the same time, what we expect from them is to actually let us know where they are stacking up. Obviously, we also get into their shoes, understand, and then do a dry run and then do a wireframing testing and everything. Then only we get into the system somewhere. But at the same time, the one is the major challenge is the cultural change. No one wants to adopt a new thing. Okay, that is part one of it. Second part is getting into a system, getting implemented. The bottleneck comes in because there is a fear of failure from either of the manufacturing side or the business side, that some of the exposure of my processes to the top management will be there. Okay, so they don't want to own those systems in that fashion or in that manner. So they would like to have a round process in terms of making more complicated so that it is more dependent on them. When you automate the systems, you cannot have a written process from them which is a straight line. Okay, so they would always try to have that a complex situation so that it is never ever automated, or it is such a customs thing. Even you go for a COTS which is catering to hundreds or thousands of companies, but whenever you try to implement that in your domain, they will come up. We have a very customized environment, and it cannot be simply done in the environment. So you have to build another 30 forms and applications over that COTS to deliver their offerings. Otherwise, if you see, they are like example of SAP or Oracle or such systems. They are hundreds of years of experience with thousands of companies, so many brains working on the same platform for so many years. But even then, most of the customs are required. Why? Because we don't have the right processes in place which can be automated directly. Yeah. So that is the challenge I normally see, and come as in day-to-day challenges for us.
Yeah. Nitin, I think good insight as such. See, the best part of it is, I mean, all the CIOs, including me, we all understand that the first challenge which comes up is, as long as the business doesn't own it, then nobody owns it. Okay. And it becomes an IT's baby, and any delivery is of no use to the organization. But okay, I think Deepak has joined. Hi, Deepak. Hello, Deepak. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hi,
audible?
Deepak.
Yeah,
audible. You're audible. So, Deepak, I think Govind and Atin and me, we were just discussing about the best practices to be used in the organization, so that we can smoothen up the digital transformation journey. Okay. So, can we have your viewpoint on this? From your experience as well as from your own organization, best practices which you're following right now.
Yeah. So, okay. Good afternoon to everyone. So, see, since we are from the Tata Steel long product, which is a subsidiary of Tata Steel. So, and since our parent company is very much, they are very much tech savvy from long time, and lot of things are there which are be new for the others, but it is they are accustomed with those type of cultures and other things. So in our case, what happens that whatever the things which has been already implemented in Tata Steel as a parent company, we have to do as a synergy, we have to implement those things in our subsidiary groups also. So there is a very less choice with the users because things already implemented and already tested. So in the digital side, when we go that side, we go with the foundations. So what are the foundations are there? For example, we follow the 7 layers of this landscape and everything. That okay, first of all, before going anything digital, we first of all strengthen the foundation part. That are the basic things of the things that our IT infrastructure, our cyber security is safe from the others, so that because nowadays people are working from home and people are working from everywhere. So there is a lot of threats are there. So whatever the applications you are going, whatever the things. So first of all, my foundation should be ready. And then we also be protected with the external world. And accordingly to that, once the things are going on, we also look after those applications which are already implemented and tested in our group company. We just roll out on those things with a slight modification, as there is every company has a different business changes. And obviously there is a change management, and the people has to, this is always in last 30 years of experience, I've seen that is a very old thing, that everyone, whenever you come with the new things, people will always have some resistance. But that resistance depends upon the how management is driving it. If management is okay that I have to do it, then I think that gets give a good support to the IT, and the ownership of the business takes more because they has to do it. So these things are there. We accordingly we follow those things, and accordingly we do the digitalizations in every area, either it is automations or in the ERP applications. So this is our process of following the same.
Okay. So, okay, nice, Deepak. I think you have a standard processes in place, but you say that even when you actually start executing anything, the base has to be there in place. In the sense you're talking about from both infrastructure perspective, security perspective, and all these due diligence is actually done before you initiate any project as such.
Yes.
Okay, that's a nice way of using the practices. So one question I have, which is very difficult for most of the CIOs and all the CXOs to, to arrive at is on the ROI when we actually take up any of the digital transformation projects. Okay, and when we look at this kind of projects, where certain times it is like a, you're experimenting on a particular project. I mean, because we don't know what could be the outcome, or it might take a lot of iterations to fix particular, a problem as such. So in that case, how do you work on the ROIs for all the digital transformation projects? Govindji, can we start with you?
Sure. So, well, I agree to you when you said that no, it is one of the most complex or complicated thing for any CIO. But if you see it logically, it is not so complicated. If we are able to measure all the business benefits, now those there could be 3 or 4 ways to measure the business benefits. One is, just qualitative improvement you'll be seeing in something. And the second will be quantitative improvement you'll be seeing. In the quantitative improvement, there will be, after the digital transformation, there could be a reduction in the manpower, very crudely speaking, or there could be reduction in the cost, or there could be a reduction in any other overheads what you may be having there, which may get, as a result, which may get reduced. Fortunately or unfortunately, these things cannot be identified always by the IT people. So our collaboration with the business community is very much required. So in the digital transformation journey, it has to be led by someone. So let's say that you are doing a digital transformation there in the sales area, your sales head has to be having a complete buy-in of that. So let's say that you are sitting with the sales head and you're proposing certain things based on some of the workshops which you may have done. You will need to discuss with him and take his buy-in on those initiatives. So let's say that there are 10 initiatives which you want to take, and the organization is ready, let's say only for 3 to begin with. So then we can deep dive there, and then with the help of the business team and with the help of any measurables which are available there as a part of the IT system, we can do that, and we can come to some business benefits, quantifiable business benefits, and that can be linked to the overall ROI calculation, and then it becomes quite straightforward. It is not, finding it out is a little tricky, but beyond that, it's a smooth sailing. So then you have 10 initiatives there, and you pick up the top 5 there based on the financial benefits or qualitative benefits what you're having there. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, good. I think hi Sudhir, thanks for joining.
Hi, namaste. Sorry for joining late. I was
no issues, Sudhir. I think it's good that you have joined at the right time. So we were all discussing on 2 major points which actually bothers all the CIOs. One is in terms of what are the best practices which we normally use in terms of digital transformation, and second is how do we actually come up with the ROI? I mean, in the sense, like, everywhere the first question comes up from the boardroom is that what is the ROI in terms of the investments which I make? So in order to arrive at all both these points, that we would like to hear your viewpoint in terms of how you have actually done in your previous engagements as well as within your own organization as such.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rajkumar. See, the main when we start any digital transformation or any journey in this direction, understanding business requirement, expectation management is very important. It is necessary that everyone in the organization has the bigger picture in mind, and at the same time thoroughly understand his or her own part well. So this is why we should percolate from top to down, and everybody should work in the one direction. If IT initiates any project, that there's a chance of that may fail. But when there's a business buying, if they get value, definitely this will be pick up your project. So digital transformation is about business, technology, data, processes, and procedures. But it is also about people. The people involved in this journey, the concerns about the change should be given due importance. Digital transformation cannot be a command coming from the management, but at the same time, the support from management is important. almost all stakeholders. So awareness is one point. Then identify which is the best solution. If you see for IoT or for analytics or thousands of products available, first step is to make sure which suits your requirement. I was with the government earlier. I was at executive director with government of India, with Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. Requirement was ease of doing business. My target given for us was how you can improve ease of doing business. Similarly here, in manufacturing companies, so manufacturing, if you see, the focus should be on manufacturing part as well as sales, marketing, and it's necessary to establish clear goals and realign business objectives and individual objectives. The transformation journey can be long and exhausting. If not planned well, efforts should be synchronized well, and if not planned well, there will be detours or maybe U-turn, and can be expected in the journey, but those should be kept minimum with proper planning. So when we start, we identify one factory where we roll out basically one small product, small IoT project, and when that is successful, move on to the next, which will help us in identifying what is our ROI, because no management will give funding if there is no ROI. But at the same time, for IoT or for such projects, defining or coming up with this is my ROI, which is very difficult. Once you start baby steps, it will be very easy. I'll give for a few examples, like what can be done. Machinery for production, optimal usage of machinery with plant maintenance and downtime. Can we find out this? Identify growth opportunities for sales, for functions, where in which region you want to target. At the same time, how you can reduce raw material and storage or inventory, and how you can reduce packaging cost. Those are important for us. So varies from manufacturing, sales, as well as HR. Now, HR, when you see your product or your particular whatever manufacturing, if there's a big demand in the month of certain months, like December, or maybe from Diwali in India, then Christmas, during those days, if there's a big demand, you need more raw material, you need to procure that in advance, you need to align manpower for that activity. So these are all achievable targets, and there's a big return of investment if we successfully implement such solutions. Back to you, Rajkumar.
Okay. It's good. Actually, you said needs to plan well. This is something which is important as such. But what happens is, particularly on the digital technology side, once we create a roadmap and once we have planned the technologies to be introduced and all, but what happens is when it comes to execution, I mean, yes, few of the opportunities which has come for most of the CIOs is during the pandemic, because we didn't had a choice, because the choice was that you need to run the show where the manpower itself has become a constraint for all of us. So can you just give us some examples wherein it helped, the pandemic has helped you out in terms of rolling few of the projects within your organization which has come up very well, and then which we would have been struggling with is from ages as such to deploy these kind of technologies?
This is for me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll tell you. I'll just rewind myself, because when this pandemic started, I was with
just one example, Sudhir.
I'll give one example quickly. I'll give one example for say toll plazas. Okay, so it's very difficult. We rolled out many all this FASTag and everything, but at the same time there was a huge traffic on certain roads, as well as certain toll plazas there was absolutely no traffic. So how you assign? So that was achieved with the pandemic, with this digital kind of. At the same time, I'll give best example, which is like there are 27 touch points when we ship any material via seaport. Okay, while air is not much required, so we initiated certain digital transformation or paperless operation for certain tasks. Basically, out of 27, many of such touch points we moved from physical paper submission to automated. So this helped us a lot, because no need for everyone to come to office and submit, go to authorities about all those papers. This was all online. So this is how we managed. And in fact, manpower, it was reduced like anything, like came down more than 60%. And this was one of the factor we kind of got selected for this ease of doing business project.
Okay. So Govindji or Nitin, I think anything which you would like to cover in the, where we could, leverage on this pandemic scenario, and it has helped us a lot. Okay.
Yeah, Raj. So on the ROI part, still, I have heard everyone, and I have some opinion. Yes, if you see all the panelists are coming to the single point that the single word is ownership. Okay, so it is not on the CIO itself, but the business team also. And when we say business team, it is a group of CXOs working for that organization. But somehow, like coming to the point what Govindji was saying, you are doing something for the sales head. At the same time, you can take care of the technology part. You can take care of the best in class processes. You can take care of the best UI and UX. You can take care of what he expects from it. At the same time, when you try to integrate it with your ERP, so that all your orders, online platform orders are coming into the ERP and all such things, the the ball game immediately transferred to the CFO. But then he's not onboarded or not covered from those business processes. So while calculating the ROI, he briefed us. There are 3-4 ways to have a calculation on ROI. At the same time, sales head would have a different formula to have an ROI for that particular system. When you are getting an approval from the business, you are having a board meeting there. All of them have a different opinion on the ROI. Okay. At the same time, I have seen in an organization, we are collectively, in this panel, working on the same sort of environment in terms of the revenue, in terms of the designation, in terms of the experience we carry. So what I see normally is ROI is what revenue you are getting from that particular investment. Okay. Maximum CXOs look at the tangible and the direct cost which is coming from the system. They don't see it from the manpower saving, the incentive, the efficiency, or any other thing to be part of that ROI calculation there. They only see, I have invested 4 lakh rupees. I need 15 lakh, 16 lakh rupees back from the system. Okay. So that is part one. Part number two is, now it is not a suggestion, not a experience I'm trying to share, but I'm playing your role now as a moderator. My question to everyone in the panel is, what is the percentage revenue a CIO should expect to be the minimum IT budget for a manufacturing organization, so that we can run this operation?
I think it was a passionate discussion you had. It's a very subjective question, percentage revenue terms. It depends on the level of, what level of computerization your automation your organization is having. There are many organizations which are, 30, 40, 50,000 crores, but their IT automation is very, very less. There are many organizations which are very, where the top line is not so much, but the bottom line is really very, very healthy. So they are able to put in a lot of money there on things like blockchain and, AI, ML and all those kind of things there. So it depends on that. A typical manufacturing mid-size to large-size IT organization, in my opinion, should be having anywhere between 0.5% to 1% of their revenue as the part of the IT budget to make the operations run properly. That's what my personal feeling is.
That is what you are referring to, the OPEX part, or cumulative of OPEX and CAPEX?
No, CAPEX is separate, OPEX only.
And CAPEX, if you see, what should be the, to have that, like you said, while the organization, the top management wants to be a leader in the industry, okay, he wants to be the number one across the globe in his area. What should be the expectation of an CIO to get them all AI, ML, IoT, digital transformation, ERP, SAP, everything there, what should be the expectation of an CIO to go ahead and ask for that? Because normally in such cases, the approvals are holded up.
So I'll tell you one thing based on my little experience. If we are able to link all our capex spends or even opex also with some sort of an with some sort of an ROI calculation, it flies very, very fast. Your CFO will really like it. So if I were to, so we're taking, I cannot name all those initiatives which we're taking in our organization, but it becomes far more easier for us to take it forward. If let's say that there is something which we want to implement in a plant, if you make your plant head as your friend to become a brand ambassador or an advocate for an initiative, it becomes easier. So then you can, instead of having a 10 crore rupee approval, and let's say that you are having 10 plants and each plant requiring 1 crore each, it becomes far easier for us to split that into 10 parts and get the approvals from 10 different locations. Initially, it looks that it will take slightly longer time, but eventually it is much faster and much more effective and efficient also. That is point number one. Point number two is, if we are even the OPEX spendings also what we are having. So let's say that your IT staff cost is X. Now, what is the productivity of each staff, each member there in your team there? If you can do that analysis and you can say that, okay, I am paying 10 rupees to a person on an average, and if that person is able to deliver, let's say 12 rupees, they will be fine. And for that, we should be able to articulate and justify the work what we are doing. So whatever initiatives we are taking, if we are able to if we are able to quantify the business benefit. So let's say that a new CRM was implemented. So one way of looking that is just a CRM was implemented and it was, we just went live. But how did it impact us? Now, it increased the top line size, for example, or it increased the bottom line size, or it increased the, in the case of a retail store, it increased the footfalls and all that. So how did it help, and how can we, again, I'm saying same thing, how can we quantify that? And if we do all those things, it becomes easier, and you can even go up to 1.5% also if you are able to justify your spends there in a very, very clearly articulative manner.
So I 100% agree on the OPEX part, and somewhere that is in range of what all of us might be managing. The point comes in when you look forward, or the business look forward for new projects, or like you said, the CRM implementation or the ERP implementation, even the digital platform and online platform implementation. That particular moment, the total budget for the capex, at least to upgrade yourselves to be at the leadership position, somewhere should be some some number which at least is an investment to look at somewhere. But when you go to the top management and ask for that revenue, they obviously look at that, I should be number one, but getting the approvals on the numbers is something a tricky thing. Either you split it in 10 plants or you do it that way. Obviously that is the methodology, how you convince them. That's it.
Correct.
But at the same time,
Nitin, I think Deepak, you have something to share?
Yeah. Actually, what Mr. Atin and Govind was telling, we adapted some different way to do this. What we have adapted, that since first of all it should be from top to bottom. That means first of all what your management wants, what your MD wants to do it. Now that we spread to our different business leaders as a workshop, and then we tell that what is your business need, you tell us. Because when you do an IT implementation, any digital implementation, it's a collaborative. And IT do not forget that they are facilitator. They never be owner of that project unless the business team take that ownership on that. So in this way, what we have we have received we told them, okay, you make your some of the digital project as a KRA or as a part of ABP. And from that ABP, when they comes with their, what is the benefits I will get by this implementing. Because this has been a instruction, this is from the top level, that every department should have a X numbers of digital projects, and they come with their openings that, okay, I want to do CRM, I want to do some supply chain management, or I want to do smart logistics. They come with the benefits. Now, based on the benefits, we calculate what is the IT requirement is there. For example, in a production, if anyone comes that, okay, I want let's say I want to go for a visualization. Okay, so what is the require? You have to go have a certain data points. You have a proper automations. So that automation in the different areas has a X number of cost. And then you calculate, okay, this is my total value, which will be required to do this. So in this way, what we happened that our work becoming very easy. We are making a 5-year plan, getting the workshop done with all the business heads. They given their opinions. Okay, we want this digital project to be implemented in our department. These are the purpose. These are the objectives. So half of the part they have taken ownership, because they are also they are the main responsible also to get it done, because they have some KRAs to reduce the cost or reduce or increase. Because let's say today I am having at a certain height my certain volume of the sales. I want to go increase my volume of sales, let's say 10x or 5x. What should be my planning? So in this way, we are collecting all the things, and then we put a cumulative figures that, okay, these are the things we have received from the different departments, and this costing you this. So that then when we present for a capex budget or opex budget, this is a collaborative way of the both the side. Okay, this we require, these are the benefits, and that makes it easier to pass those things.
And Deepak, if I may add, Raj, with your permission, what you're saying, Deepak, is bang on. What we do, or what I have been doing in my past organizations also, we bake in the cost of IT as the part of that project, of that business project. So let's say that the entire business project cost is 100 crore rupees, and IT cost is only 2 crore rupees there. That is baked in there, and that includes things like procurement of since we were talking, Atin, about capex also. So it'll be requiring some additional laptops, desktops also, some additional switches, routers, and all that. So all that is added as a part of that project, and it becomes far easier, because then the entire project is approved, and then you get it there.
Yeah. Similarly, we are doing for the automations and other projects, and we are getting success because in here we are not only using our mind, because business knows that if I have told to do this and this cost has been incurred, then I am also responsible to get it implemented and deployed. For example, in the CRM case, I'm telling you, business is struggling that we want to do this CRM, because in the earlier organizations I have seen that when we forced to do the CRM is such an application where it is not like a ERP where business gets stopped. So what happened that when we implemented the CRM, business does not take the ownership. But in this case, what happens? Business is telling, no, we want a CRM. Yes, these are my requirements. I want this NR, I want this CPOH, I wanted XX things. Now it is becoming easier for us to drive it.
Yeah, I think good insights as such. So I could think about 3 or 4 points particularly came up. One is, Govindji, as you rightly said, the business has to be a brand ambassador for that. We are only a facilitators. And second thing is, your business plan for the entire year is rolled out, wherein they clearly business has to articulate which are the areas they would like to improvise and what kind of investments are required in IT to reduce or increase operational efficiencies and all that. So these are all fundamentals which will help us in terms of defining the capex as well as what kind of OPEX needs to be added into this. So, but definitely see what happens is, just I was listening to Nitin and all, but Atin, particularly there are certain things like you will not be able to arrive at quickly an ROI on everything. Like there are some projects which even personally I have gone through it, where we talk about security in particular. Security is an insurance to the company. There's nothing like an ROI which you can always, come up with, unless and until there's an attack or there is an event which happens on the organization where organization lose out money and everything. That's where the insurance comes into picture. So I think certain aspects are going to get into the, it is very difficult to get into ROI, but rest of the things, yes, wherever we could think about direct and indirect benefits can be articulated and show as an ROI where the business is involved. So particularly now we are talking about the digital transformation, and these digital transformations are business transformation projects. And these business transformation projects has to be clearly, can be initiated only based on the based on the kind of benefit which it can add to the organization. What do you say? Sudhir ji, aapka? What's your viewpoint on this?
See, basically, we need to first showcase, kind of what all required projects, properly make budget and present. I think every company without digital transformation is not possible. And see, new demands cannot be fulfilled with the legacy system. So I think every management or CFOs and they are ready to invest, provided when they see there is a proper, kind of return of investment. So getting funding is not a challenge anymore. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, then you were saying something.
So I would like to add here, Raj, somewhere. Yeah. So I understand ROI is not a problem. At the same time, what I've seen, in earlier assignments also, in the manufacturing domain majorly, not the service industry or the other industries. Every other person other than a CIO is a CIO. Okay, so when you come up with some solutioning, you will get 7 different options from them that why you are going for this, it might be cheaper. Okay, so that is something which comes for each and every project from the business side of it. Be it a digital transformation, just to give you an example, you are trying to make an online portal or a website or something like that, you would recommend somewhere. So the expectation of the business is to have their own Amazon. Okay, but at the same time, the sales head and the marketing head would look at Magento में कर सकते हैं, PHP में pages बना सकते हैं. Why to invest so much on Shopify or Oracle or Liferay or something like that? Okay, the OPEX cost and the CAPEX cost is going high. So why do we invest so much on दो डेवलपर बैठा लो यार, उससे अपना ऑनलाइन पोर्टल बनवा लो, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, माल ही तो बेचना है. That sort of environment, as in, so CIO is a commodity today. Okay.
Correct.
So having
that's
that,
right, Atin, I think that's good. I think you have got in a point. Yeah, Atin, hello. Yeah. So okay, Priyanka, I think we are. Thank you all for your support. I think there are some questions. I think Priyanka is there. Priyanka, I think if you have any questions to the forum,
Yes,
please.
Yes, we have question. We have question from Simran. She's asking how technology is impacting the changes economics of production and distribution.
Sorry, come again.
How technology is impacting the changing economic of production and distribution.
Yeah. I think Sudhir, you would like to take this up.
Yeah, so technology is very important. As you know, whenever we send any, even for domestic, like when we send parcel, we can track nowadays. At the same time, the most important, see, logistics cost is very important, and how we reduce that cost. Say, for example, I'll tell you when the ship comes to for anchoring, so the time we save, 1 hour saved is equal to thousands of dollars. So that kind of a proportion is there. At the same time, how you can track your containers coming from manufacturing to ports, as well as imported containers going from the custom clearance to factories, raw material. So logistics tracking is very important, and if we track those, and then it should be a chain. It should be a kind of we need to stitch various kind of locations, like by road, rail, air. If we could club all together, and that will give us a big benefit. Production will improve. At the same time, logistics cost will come down, and the beneficiary will be not only kind of agencies or shipping agents, clearing agents, manufacturer, but even for food particles, and the last person to get advantage of this is farmers. So this is logistics is very important. Now technology, you ask them many technologies, GPS technology, and then onboard unit. So with such technology and kind of we can reduce this logistics cost, as well as will increase efficiency.
Thank you, Sudhir. Priyanka, any more questions?
Yes, we have another question. It's from Sumit. He's asking, what are the challenges for the digital transformation and use of disruptive technologies?
Okay, Atin, you would like to take this up?
Yeah, no problem. So, disruptive is something which is very wide and open. Okay. So, like Raj in his discussion said, implementation of ISMS or the security policies and then further the systems is something which is actually important and comes under IT, as in both from the budget perspective and typical IT projects. There is no such, direct benefit which a business perspective looks at. At the same time, the disruptive part, when it hits the organization, everyone blows the whistle. Okay, that it has happened, and now we want to invest on the ISMS part of it or the security part of it, or such things have happened. I am not only referring to the cybercrime, but also on the manufacturing side. There are so many disruptive processes, I would say business processes, which actually mean you to loss of data or sanctity of data sometimes. So somewhere on those lines, we actually need the support from the top management to look at it and to give us the right capability and ownership to implement all such systems immediately. So that's how I look at it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So, Priyanka?
No, that's all the question.
Okay.
And before ending up, I request everyone to give a smile so that we can take a screenshot for it.
Yeah. Deepak, can you switch on your camera? Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay, and thank you. I think on behalf of the entire team and to even Priyanka, thank you all. Sudhir, in particular, Atin and Deepak, and thank you all for your time, and thanks for joining and giving your insights to the team.
Thank you. Thank you all the leaders for adding value to this forum. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll be in touch. We will touch again.
Fine.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Now we have third panel for the day, and the topic is Reimagine Digital Transformation in Auto. Today, 150 plus CXOs and 300 plus attendees are watching this live on our website. Here I call the moderator, Mr. Arvind Kaul from Uno Minda, Vikram Kartik from Mahindra Group, Vinod Khode from Varrock Engineering, Ranganathan Iyer from JBM Group, Sunil Nair from Bridgestone, and Ashok Jare from Spark Minda. I request Mr. Arvind Kaul to start the discussion.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this forum. Welcome, Iyer sir, Mr. Vikram, Mr. Ashok, and Mr. Vinod. Okay, I can see everyone on the table now. Okay, so today we are just going to have a round table, or I can say panel discussion. I think it's more of a collaboration forum. Basically, our topic is reimagining digital transformation auto. Okay. So before proceeding, if you can just have a quick intro, we can start with Mr. Iyer.
Namaste. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes.
I am V. Ranganathan Iyer, Group CA for JBM Group. Thank you.
Mr. Jade. Sir, not audible.
Yep. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, friend. I am Ashok Jade. I'm a group CIO and CTO at Spark Minda. And good to see all friends. Good to see Ranganathanji, Vinod. Right, the industry is small. Thank you. Thanks for joining this session. We'll have a good discussion over here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arvind.
Sir.
Thank you, Arvind.
Mr. Vinod.
Hi, this is Vinod Khode. I am the group CIO for Varrock Group. And same as Ashok said, good to see all the friends together. So we'll have a good discussion. Thanks, Arvind.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vinod. Mr. Vikram.
Hello, Arvind. I run digital transformation for Mahindra's farm and equipment sector, which is which is commercial vehicles, tractors, and farm equipment. I am not switching on my camera because I'm recovering from COVID, and so not really presentable in a room with you folks. So that's why I hope to participate effectively with you guys. Thanks.
Yeah,
Okay,
take care,
understand.
Vikram, and get well soon.
Yeah. And Vikram, I'm just 3 days ahead of you, so I'm in a better shape.
So everyone is sailing the same boat, right? Means,
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
Okay. So let's see. I think we have few things where we need to discuss. It's mostly about nowadays you see buzzword is digital transformation, cloud. So we'll be also talking on the same perspective. So to start with, I will start with Mr. Vinod. So Vinodji, how digital transformation really can put in growth and support the high growth what we are anticipating. What is your viewpoint on that? Yeah.
Sure. I think it's a good topic to start and lay the foundation for the rest of the discussion. So you talked about two things, is growth and digital transformation. So if I just start with some data example, which most of us would have seen, that there was a study done where about Fortune 500, everybody knows about what is a Fortune 500 company. It's very difficult to get into that league. Once you get there, you stay there for a long time. But in early 2000, there were about 500 these Fortune 500 people. And when the same study was done, out of that 500, which were there in 2000, only 324 remained there. Some of them got merged, taken over, some got bankrupt. And the reason when in digital transformation, not just the prime reason, but there are one of the reason where people were not those who got chucked out of the list, and the new one got added, by the way, where one of the main reason was that they were not fast enough to adapt to the changing trends and technology, and they got left out. Okay. So I think that with that in the background, we talked about digital transformation. It's a buzzword which has been coined and has been widely used. But if you see, this is mainly what we, in the simple term, it is adopting to stay in the business. And also the part that you talked about is the growth. So, and every business is different. Now we are here talking about manufacturing, and my friends here are in the auto component manufacturing. But if you talk about retail or about the passenger car or commercial vehicle, each of that has seen a trend. Like if you talk about phone companies, everybody knows about the story about the famous phone we all love to use, Nokia and BlackBerry. They're nowhere in the sight. And the newer people who had come, they have taken over. Then the way Tesla is giving the competition to the people who have been there for like millennia, and now this new company comes and it is leading the way, and people are adopting. So I think transformation is or adapting to a change in technology, in the process, in the way you work, is a need of our, and we started calling it digital transformation. And all of us who are now sitting here and doing this panel discussion, and all our friends, we basically survived through this because of whatever we did in past 10 years of preparation came handy in the last 2 years. And that's why I think the term that you said, growth, because now we have survived and we know there is a pent up demand which will suddenly shoot up. It's going to come. Nevertheless, it's going to come. It's there. People are just waiting for things to get back to normal. And we saw a glimpse of that when the wave one went down and there was a Diwali vacation and Diwali came. Suddenly there was a pent up demand which came up, and it gave a pseudo sense that everything has become into normal. But again, this will be a cyclic thing. So this second part is the growth part, is how do we support growth using digital transformation? Now, every industry has a different need. Like if you are a retail, you will have a different need. And if you are a company which manufactures medicine or vaccine, we have a different need to adopt different type of technology. And within manufacturing as well, or within automotive as well, if you are making a passenger car, your need would be different. So every organization need to look at their goal tree and what do they want to do in the next 5 years, and look at the complete value stream, not just pointed solution which kept us alive till now. It has to be a complete value stream. Suppose if I take a simple example which we all relate to, is that the fruits and the vegetable that we get in our refrigerator now. Like talk about the simple example, the tomatoes. Now we have all seen that is a use of multi-harvester. Multi-harvester has been used for a pretty long time. But with adoption of technology, the same harvester which was used to till the soil, to sow the seed, to spread the fertilizer, is now also used for harvesting, and it is also sorting the tomatoes as they harvest, with the green one on this side, ripe one on, and the one which is rotten goes thrown out back into the field so that it become a compost. So now this use of technology has helped that particular organization which is doing the mass farming of tomatoes to produce more productivity, and it's the term that we keep on hearing, do more with less. So I think this is a need for all organizations. Every organization need is different. So I think the digital transformation and the growth, it starts with looking at what is your need, what is your demand. Make sure that you have a sponsorship from the top so that they understand that this needs to be adopted, and then start getting into technology part. One of the main thing in under the study which has just come out is one of the main thing where most of the 70% of the digital transformation project are not succeeding. Not the word failing, they are partially successful, but they do not achieve the full KPIs which they were meant to. Is the reason is change management. Is the change management of the whole organization. You can bring in a technology, but if people don't adopt, people in the trenches don't adopt, and their questions are not answered, what does it do for me? I think that is where the management I can see in my organization, in peer organization, there's a lot of effort being spent in making sure that change management is put in place. Consultants are brought from outside. And one of our friends that we all talk to, and I can quote that, Bharat Ford, is a very good example how they manage the change part when they brought in IoT, and their example is talked about by everybody across the globe. So I think that, and the growth part which Arvind talked about is, now the definition of growth would be also different for different industry. If you're in retail business, you want to capture the market and you burn cash. If you are in automotive, you want to make profit and say that your bottom line is taken care and you maximize the profit, so margin. So, the growth is a definition that you all have, each person has to decide what is my definition. And based on that, put in a plan to make sure that you adopt a technology which helps you in achieving the definition of growth that you have coined. And in short, I think the top 2 or 3 technologies which everybody and my friends are going to talk about it is the adoption of cloud. So, and the no code, low code, which will give you, the agility, the sensor based automation to get data so that you can make decision. And the last but not the least, which is cutting across all of it, is the data which we are getting. And we all talk about data is the new oil, is how to churn that data to make meaningful insights out of it so that you can do forecast and slowly move away from the descriptive analytics that we all have been doing for years now to into the next phase of analytics where it can predict and where it can also diagnose and also tell you what is going wrong and what you do. And it should be available to people in the trenches so that they can, take their own decision and take a decision in the right time, not after the fact. Our reporting has been traditionally that look at the report after 15 days, after a month, and then by the time it's too late. So if you know that something is wrong, the energy consumption in a particular plant is too much, you have to go and find out right now so that you fix the problem and curb that leakage of energy so that your bottom line gets taken care of. So I think that is the last part I wanted to talk about, is the growth and how to use this technology to manage the growth. So over to you, Arvind.
Yeah, thanks, Vinod. I think very nicely articulated. You talked about in and out about the growth and how this is going to fuel up. So key takeaways, what I can take out was it is really the need of hour, and basically we need to define the growth from individual to individual and organization to organization. And definitely, if I look the challenge, so even I really agree. Adoption, change management is a big challenge for everyone. Somewhere it might be in a very minuscule, and somewhere it is very huge. But this is a challenge everyone is facing. Neil, if you can just add on to what Mr. Vinod said about how this is going to develop.
So, Vinod, can you please repeat? I think I lost you in between.
No,
Arvind, sorry. Yeah.
I can repeat the what was the actually the topic, the question. Okay. So basically, this how digital transformation can help and support the high growth.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thanks to Eldon Group and all the panelists available in this group for this opportunity. Sorry for joining a little bit late. I got stuck in some calls. Yeah. So let me give my perspective, and it's good to hear from Vinod perspective which he's sharing, and I think in a length and breadth he covered almost all the points. So let me give my perspective. So if when we are talking about the digital transformation, right? So in my experience, I looked at two kind of industries. So one is which is like quite mature in terms of IT implementation, IT journey. And the kind of approach they are taking, it's like they're definitely looking at their business goals, business strategy, and then looking at the pointed solutions, and then trying to integrate with their entire ecosystems. That's a one kind of industry. That's the other kind of industry where they are not so great in IT implementation or adoption, or whether it's IT journey, right? And they're running some kind of digital transformation program, and whether it's a 3-year roadmap, it's a 5-year roadmap. And I seen this kind of pattern in the matured organization also, where they're thriving for new kind of challenges, right? Which is not like, I'm just giving a generalizing the two parts of it. And when I'm looking at the second part, where the adoption or the IT implementation journey is not so great compared to the world, one of the best implementation of IT, right? And when they go through, they look at they try to integrate with the business strategy, and again looking at some projects, initiatives, right? And in fact, in our topic, it's about remodeling of the digital transformation, right? And I see the companies are moving, they are achieving, but the very successful digital transformation program, when I see the third element of it, which is the environment is very hyper connected ecosystem which is available, right? And this hyper connected ecosystem, and when you're trying to gel with your digital transformation strategy, right? Let's me put up the example. For example, the disruption which is happening in the customer journey, the disruption which is happening around the supply chain logistics. If I take a simple example of, like, for example, in a supply chain area where the P2P cycle is there, right? And you are putting up the project, you are doing something, you're with the best of the breed technology, but you are not connected with the ecosystem, like how the other market elements are happening. And when you look at this entire new piece of hyper-connected ecosystem, then you see the different kind of business models or digital strategy which is coming up, which is giving a new fuel or new ideas to the organization. Can we look at? And I'm seeing the organization when we are putting up the digital transformation program, right? And I'm seeing the organization when they're looking at this kind of thing, and I know in my and I'm privileged to see this kind of organizations where now they are talking about, can't be IT a part of PNL, right? And because they are coming up with this kind of disruptive ideas and this kind of digital transformation they are bringing, why they can't be part of PNL? Right. So those kind of discussions are happening because we are bringing this kind of energy. The IT team is bringing those kind of energies, and this kind of disrupt transformation is giving fuel to the business operations, right? In a different way of thinking, and you can see the startup world. That's how they are evolving. And why can't we leverage this kind of same synergy in the corporate and a traditional environment? So this is how people are doing the remodeling, and I feel this kind of hybrid approach is giving a different kind of fuel to the organization. And this is my perspective, and I think most of the thing already been covered by Vinod.
Thanks, Sunil. I think you gave it in a different perspective. I think very important thing you talked about the hyper-connected ecosystem, and I know the best thing is why can't IT be the part of PNL? And I think that's something which has to happen down the line. I think that's very important. Thanks, Sunil, and thanks, Vinod. I think that was something very energetic. We came to know more about the growth in the digital transformation. Thank you very much. Next, I do have for Mr. Jade. So, Mr. Jade, how basically IT cost and value optimization, rather optimization techniques can enable for smarter spending in the industry. So what is your viewpoint on this?
Yeah, Arvind, nice question. Some new questions who has been touching to the IT cost and optimization. I can see the faces of my friends over here. Whenever there is a IT cost subject is there, everybody has a smile, which has some indication to me on the. Yeah. It sends to me topic and have some indication. Be a true here to talk about here, right? But anyway, let me put up this one. So, according to me, IT cost or IT cost optimization are a motherhood statement. When I look at it from perspective, right, that how much you are spending or how much cost you will put up over here, this really doesn't give you any sense to make a decision, right? These are very motherhood statement. My perspective about IT cost optimization or IT cost spending, right, brings the real value when you relate to the benefit outcome which we are looking into this one, right? To somebody, now we were talking about in one of the conversation, I think you also referred, Arvind, that there are some consulting assignment also we call the consultant and we say the map to digital roadmap, right? And there are a lot of debates happens. Do we need a consultant to do this one? Because they also charge us a lot of things. And how do you bring the value out of this one? Just they're telling us what to do. And many times the question has been raised within the organization, you don't know what to do, right? So let's be on this one. So should we spend over here, not to spend over here? So my opinion over here is that many times what happens, we relate only the number.
You are not audible, Mr. Ashok. I guess you put the mute better. No. Still not.
He is not mute, but still I don't know what.
Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay, I think something went wrong with my headphone.
Technology is technology, huh? It sometimes supports, sometimes doesn't.
And this is the way I think the technology job is also like doctor job. Many times people go to the doctor and say that, okay, I need a guarantee of life, he has to recover. No, but there are some chances that the doctor the same way the technology was work over here, right? Every time you can't ask the CTO that 100% time it should work. Sometimes it also okay, anyway, on lighter note. So when we put up such assignment, we have to really look into the value which will be gained out of this spending, right? And then I think there the leadership role plays a vital role over here to convince or to bring that paper on the table, which doesn't only look into the spend we do on the technology, but what are the value we are getting out of this one. Let me put up some of the example. Recently, we were doing some IoT project, right, wherein we intend to integrate our 100 plus CNC machine to the ERP through some IoT platform, right? The amount which we are spending, so X amount was there. Everybody looking to this one. Do we need to spend so much of amount, right, on this project, and do we gain this one? But when we put up the same business case along with the value proposition, which will get another 3 years, right, then that numbers got justified. I think it is something like spending this one. So whenever the IT cost optimization terms comes, I think we should not go or influence. So it has some relation to gain whether it is getting the value or not. About the technique, I don't know, out of my experience, as such, there is no proven technique or theory or something, at least I know exists, right? It is more of the business acumen. It is more of the your own knowledge on the matter when you discuss such a topic with the people. Sometime I can say your value come even if whenever you do some cloud migration, and sometime even it comes when you roll out a new project. It can come into any format, this one, right? When we are rolling out the CRM, right? So, for example, when we roll out the CRM, generally people talk about it, whenever they talk about the CRM, they talk about the how much is will the customer satisfaction, right? How much will the reduce the response to the customer? How much will reduce the resolution to the customer? Right. But as somebody was referring to me, I think Sunil was referring that why IT cannot be a part of PLM, P&L. And similarly, I think that why can't we have a value of data will be the part of our P&L? The amount of data generated by this CRM system, that is also value, right? If we can convert that value and give the indication to our board or management, okay, see, we are collecting so much of data, and this data, if it is a service CRM, is not only for the complaint handling, right? This is for a repeat order, repeat sale also will come to picture, right? If we use such a technique, right, which will be the case to case, then our IT cost optimization or IT cost spending, this question will be addressed more effectively. I think we should focus more on the what is the value we'll gain out of this one. In the IT also, if you look at to this one, when it is comes to the application, it is easy to talk about such a value. But when we go to the some other part of the IT vertical, so for example, if you start talking about the IT cost for cyber security, everybody knows it's a tough challenge to convince that why do we need a CISO on board? Our is the organization where CISO exclusive position we have created, he's on board. Right? How do you convince? It's a really hard matter because sometimes you have to be blunt enough कि insurance का पता तभी चलता है जब टांग टूट जाता है, right? तब तक तो पता नहीं चलता है कि insurance capture चाहिए. So I think sometimes you have to be hard talk. Sometimes you have to put up the business case. Sometimes you have to be diplomatic, and sometimes you have to really understand their pain also and convince yourself that this is not going to give any value. Let us not put this spend. So these all 4-5 techniques I think I learned over the period of my experience, and you have to put up amicably whenever possible and do your job. Over to the forum if they have some input. I know that this forum can give better input.
Anyone wants to comment?
Yeah,
I think Ashok covered most of it. Yeah.
Saying that aloud, right? So it's also about not being cost focused. It's about de-risking yourself from certain decisions and de-risking the organization from an opportunity versus a sunk cost. So that's very well put in terms of the lens is not just to be resisting everything, but also about evaluating something if it's within our capability to create value within a defined amount of time.
Exactly, Vikram. Yeah, I agree with you.
Thanks, Ashok. I think that was very value point you brought in here, because I agree that it's totally outcome based. At the end of the day, it's finally what is the benefit realization which has come out of that project, ROI, key KPIs, right? So I think you've been a very example of the IoT, what you have done in the organization, and also you talked about the cybersecurity aspect. And even rather, we have faced those kind of things in our organization. That's very realistic example. Thank you, Ashok, for just giving insights about that. And even thanks to Vikram for getting on that. Next, I think it's very sensitive topic, very close to me also. It's about cloud. Okay. So this one, Mr. Iyer. So, Iyer sir, what is your viewpoint about the cloud adoption is actually, how it is going to fuel the demand of business? I think it's a very big topic, and you can talk from your perspectives, from your organization perspective.
Yeah, namaste. Thanks for the opportunity. Let us come to the term cloud later. let us try to understand what business is, how business is evolving. Number one, we started looking beyond transaction, engineering, automations. We started embracing the data which is available within machines. That is number one. Number two, we are slowly moving towards, specifically JB, moving towards new areas of business, like we are into bus, we are into EV charging, we are into solar energy, we are into waste to energy. So we are putting our foot into different difficult segments of businesses. That's number two. Number three, the requirement has come in such a way that the time to deliver is also got reduced as compared to 4 years back. If I am talking about delivering any solution 4 years back and today, if I'm talking about delivering a solution, the mindset has changed for different reasons. Let us try to illustrate with some examples. When you are talking about solar farm, when we are generating energy from solar, that is from sunlight, we are putting it in 500 acres of land where we are giving 100 megawatts of power and connecting to the grid. This also directly connected to the time to resolve any technical problems within panel. That's number one. Number two is how quickly we are going to resolve that. Having said that, we have done two things. Number one, we centralized and then brought everything under cloud so that we are in a position to eliminate the time to deploy as far backend infrastructure is concerned. Number two, embrace the technology available so that individual machines are responding with their health. That I am not well, or I will not be generating, or I am generating less energy. Those kinds of parameters it is sending by itself. We started accumulating, and then we are drawing some. To make this happen, we have to adapt cloud. So that is number one. Number two, let us come to the traditional business of auto component, which is a 40-year-plus old organization. We started behaving different because of pandemic. Let us try to understand with a small example. We are short of people who can certify the produced product is up to the mark or not. So because of pandemic, we found manpower shortage. So we decided that we should try to develop some solution, which is a visual basic solution, which should help us identifying the problems when it is producing 100% immediately. Having said that, we started thinking of failing fast than of doing anything else. We started with 2 or 3 different players coming and providing us some solutions. Within 1 month, we came to know that it is possible, it is not possible. So we left it. So the cost overrun is also basically taken care of. And number 3, if you look into when you are trying to expand yourself into the different business segments of you are trying to incorporate IoT related things from day one. This also means you are not aware of how much data is going to get generated, how quickly it is going to generate it, and there will always be the quotient of error which is going to cause the performance issue of the backend solution, or maybe the network related thing which we have identified. So to make it more meaningful, for these three reasons. Number one, you should fail fast because you do not know, you are into different segments, number one. Number two, for example, because of that exponential data explosion, you can scale up, or if you are in a position to bring in right kind of knowledge into that, you can scale down also, so that we can save some cost. Number three, with the traditional businesses, we do not know, because we are graduating, because we have out of 12, 13 processes which you identified, we are done only 2 processes automation. So another 10 processes are there. So we have kept cloud as a basic thing, so that we can scale as and when it is required. The important part, what we have learned is this. Number one, it is not mandate that only cloud is going to help you in resolving all the issues. Cloud also has got problem. When you have data to be communicated both ways, in most of the deployments, data is collected from machine and it goes to cloud. If you are going to bring in intelligence and control the production floor, the cloud option will fail. You have to be there on the plant. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to take corrective decision. For example, when you are running a conveyor, if this is not happening, conveyor should stop, so that we are ensuring that loss is eliminated. That's number two. There are certain applications which are hungry. Say we started with the cloud adoption for PLM. Although we were not satisfied with the taxing, so we came back to. So you have to learn, or you have to fail fast, and then cloud is not the only solution. Yes, sir. Wherever you are in unknown territory, you have to start with cloud, bring in value addition, prove it to the business. If possible, come back to on-prem or maybe co-located, which will be more meaningful for a deployment perspective. Thank you.
Thanks, Iyer Saab. Anyone else, any other panel member wants to comment on this? I think this is something which touches everyone, every organization, cloud nowadays.
Yeah, I think Mr. Iyer talked about a couple of things which are very important, is the speed at which you can adopt things and implement things. Cloud brings that, and he also talked about the elasticity. If the data increases more than what you have estimated, you have an elastic model where you can start having more compute, more storage. So that is definitely there. But as he rightly said, not everything can be moved to cloud. The example that he talked about from manufacturing, especially on our side, that certain things has to be done on the ground, and that data has to be stored on the ground, so that decision for the process control, talking to PLC, the example that he gave, stopping the conveyor belt, all of that need to reside. But then the gist of that has to be moved to cloud. And again, what needs to move to cloud, your edge thought process is what should be stored and what should be processed needs to be thought of very well. So the edge part is something that when it comes to cloud, the edge thought process and the concept have to be understood very well, so we don't end up moving everything to the cloud. And the last one is again learning from the R&D, that your R&D is the data that you have in the R&D facility is your intellectual property. And moving all of that to cloud, you have to take a consensus across that everybody should be comfortable, including legal and security and enterprise risk management, BCP. So thumb rule is that, yeah, cloud is good, but don't get too excited and move everything to the cloud. And Sunil did talk about the hyper scenario, hyper mesh and all. So not one cloud is important. Like I'll just give an example where we are trying to implement account payable automation using cloud-based OCR and ability to detect the data out of your invoice, scrap it through, talk to SAP, things which people were doing, now the system is doing. And we found that we actually tried out two different services, pay-as-you-go from two different clouds, and one fared like 30% better than the other. And these scenario keep on changing. After some time, the cloud which was not doing good, they may come up with some freebie and they'll be even better. So for us, it's just a API change, and I can still point to different one. Whosoever gives the best pay-as-you-go scenario or the money, I'll move to that. So I think the advantage is that uses judiciously, and for most sense, like you can use to stick to one cloud, but don't let go the other options that you have on the other cloud. This is what I wanted to add. Thank you.
I agree, Mr. Vinod. I think I have also a few things. What I can get from Mr. Ayer. Fail fast, I think that's very, very important. And definitely when you are diversifying, so that time cloud can be a necessity for you, because the way you are diversifying, the way you are expanding, that time it can be really a breather for you, because that time being on another model that's on-prem, it's somehow difficult. But in the beginning, you can move on to the cloud, and rather what Ayar was saying, that the PLM was one of the examples. They have gone to cloud and then came back to on-prem. So that flexibility, and we should be able to get into that model. That's very, very important. And definitely what Vinod was saying, I agree. It does have pros and cons. It all depends on your organizational model, the business you are into. So nowadays, if you see Flipkart and e-com companies, so they can't manage without cloud, because the scale up, scale down they need, so they will get only on cloud. But for manufacturing organization like where we are, more or less it's a stable, because we don't make rockets. So for us, we have to see, we have to calculate what is best for our organization. Talking from the perspective, cost also, stability, scalability. So these are all parameters I think we should know in this cloud part. Nice discussion on the cloud part. Ashokji, you want to add anything on this?
No, really great discussion, great point has been put up by Vinod and Raghunathan. To summarize, yes, this is the one point I was also thinking. As far as the cloud is concerned, and the practice we did here and in my earlier assignment also, where in earlier assignment our 90% workload was on cloud. The key is that migrating on cloud is easy. Return journey is very difficult if you want at all to be done. Right, if you have been forced to come back, right? So please, I mean, while doing this one, be very cautious, right? Before do this one, if you are, as you are referring it with the proprietary data or intellectual property kind of the thing, wherein design or IP kind of thing, then keep in mind that there has to be a good way to come back if something goes wrong, because for you, it is your business. Right, it's your data has to be protected, and you are answerable to your management and board. For the CSP, it is their business, it is their revenue model. They are not answerable to your board for that, for the risk which you have carried on you, right? So that's very important. You have to be cautious. How will I come back if something goes wrong? And cloud migration, according to me, is also one aspect is the technology aspect and business aspect everybody has given. Beyond that, there is one more aspect is the legal aspect. Have a very good look at to the agreements, right? Certain new clauses and the way the Indian law is changing or is being set to change in the coming years, right? Keep it in the mind, because it is a long-term decision. In the many of my assignment, I found that there was a reasonable amount of hesitation to sign the clause in the contract for right to audit. Right. I mean, while taking the assignment, it may not look to be a problem for them, but then after then it is a problem. So many times I say, right, so marriage certificate may not be a requirement if the happily married life, but when there's a problem of, I mean, when there comes a situation of divorce, then first you have to put the marriage certificate or some proof that marriage has been done, right? So this paperwork, agreements, legal things are also very important while starting your migration on the cloud or cloud strategy. That should be also keep in mind.
But
thanks.
Sorry, I differ here. You should know about risk. That's all. You see, when you are getting married, you know the risk. If you are going If you are going for cloud, risk is there.
Yeah.
If you are going to read, understand, and then the way you wanted to correct itself, you will never get married.
Yeah, no, sometimes there can be situation where you need to
No,
roll back.
I agree.
Roll back the situation. There has to be option to roll back.
You see, you are talking about 5% of the time. 90% of the time, you will sail fast, sail clear. 5% you have to take risk.
Risk taking should be there, definitely.
I think I completely agree with Ashok. Like, especially there is a buzzword, right? So during that time, cloud is a buzzword, and now the AI ML is a buzzword. The entire organization, every time like, it's a senior management, why we are not moving into cloud, right? But there is a pros and cons which we discussed, like, right? And I just want to add one different perspective, right? When we are putting up the cloud strategy, right? Apart from the decision metrics which you have when to move into cloud, whether it is scalability, whether it is some kind of experiment or new technology, new services you want to leverage from the cloud, right? That is up to the organization level, how their decision metrics works. But look at like how things are moving in market, right? You have the way it started, you have this IaaS, infrastructure as a service. Now the PaaS has come up. Then now looking at the SaaS services, right? If you look at the typical manufacturing organizations, right? I'm not talking about the Netflix kind of thing, but typical manufacturing organization, we have very packaged solutions, whether it is SAP, whether it look at the CRM solution, we all have this package solution. Almost 90 to 95% contribution is through package solution. And they have the SaaS solution available right now. Now, what we are talking about, if you have really different business models, different thing which you want to try out, then you are going with some kind of containerization platform, building some new application, which is very new to the organization, right? That's where you are looking for this kind of, okay, IaaS or some kind of services or some analytics layer. But otherwise, if you look at the almost packages are available. Now, putting up this layer from the SaaS point of view, PaaS point of view, IaaS point of view, how this architecture will look like from the long-term perspective. What kind of investment we are going to do, and where is that gap, what kind of value addition will happen. I think this is one of the more like if you look at in more deep, the complexity will come up, and then you will decide whether what is that mean by cloud. Anyway, I am already in cloud. There is a different perspective. Where should I invest my energy, my investment, whether on this package application or the way we people are saying the low code, no code kind of platform where already application can be developed and can be managed by the outsourced people. In fact, that kind of thing also been managed. Right. So that's something has to looked at in a future run. And I think this is one area where, in my opinion, in fact, I was discussing a couple of IT leaders also, they're still not clear where it is heading and what the shape will IT will take up in future, especially from the cloud strategy point of view.
Yeah, I'm sorry, again, I'm interrupting. See, you do not plan for 3 years as far IT is concerned. It is waste of energy. Number two, try to bring any decisions. It should not go beyond 24. If you're doing for 36, it's okay. But with the explosion which is happening across with open source based solutions, the future is going to be open source. It looks like. But I'm not, to our management also, I made it very clear, let it be cloud, any solution, we will not go beyond 24 months of planning. Because they also, there's so much of fluctuation which is happening in the business also, they also understood that going beyond is going to kill. So any investments, any solution, anything, if it is going to solve the purpose next 24 months, I'm happy. This is one of the critical factor which I ensure happens so that we are implementing some solution. Otherwise, we will never be in a position to implement any solution. Thank you.
Absolutely, Ayasab. I just add one, pinch of salt. So definitely you need to have a strategy, but your IT strategy has to be agile. The way your project management is agile, you talk about agile, Scrum. But nowadays, your IT strategy can't be, for next 5 years frozen. It has to be agile. Way the things are shaping up, the things are changing, it needs to be agile, right? I think we had a very nice insights about the talked about a lot of insights, Ashokji, yes, okay, so a lot of things on the cloud because it's a very sensitive thing. So next, I would like to ask Mr. Vikram.
So, Vikramji, what is your thought process about enabling the cultural shift in the digital transformation?
Sure. Thanks, Arvind. Sorry. I'm going to take the liberty of just structuring this conversation when you said, what do I think of nurturing digital way of working within organizations, right? Apparently, the context in most places, most organizations is that there is a consulting exercise which has driven the need for a CDO or a digital organization, and that results in a certain needs and wants, and a certain role definition of what the CDO is expected to do, right? And for the most part, in most studies from 2016, be it McKinsey, Capgemini, Invent, and all of these studies, if we look, culture is reported as the most significant barrier to effective digital investments, right? And only number 2 and 3 and 4 are presence of older systems, lack of skills, lack of leadership, lack of vision. All of these are like only after number 1 is resistance, right? I will not do this if this is my job, or why is this important? I don't understand. And principally, how I see this is the success / failure, or I would say performance of the Arogya Setu app is what I look more into. But why did people not leverage it enough, right? We did not leverage it enough because the world would have been different if everybody had Bluetooth on and had alerts when they came into a visible radius, a Bluetooth radius of somebody who had the disease. And we didn't do that. We had phones, we had connectivity, and we didn't do that because we didn't see value in it. The app did not give everybody who installed the app some value in return. It was doing too much in the back end, but there was no value. So engagement comes from visible solutions to visible problems. And if problems are not visible, I would accept that it is the digital team's duty to surface these problems and then look for solutions, right? And that brings us to why digital culture and a brief definition of digital culture, because this surfacing of problems is what we call digital culture. There are archaic definitions of this. Let me pull up one slider from World Economic Forum, which has a serious breakdown of pillars of what digital culture is. It talks about 4 key pillars of digital culture: collaboration, data drive, customer centric, and innovative. Right, and for the most part, my definition closely alludes to that as well. But what I look for is teams that have influence on one another by having solid data to exchange, solid knowledge to exchange, and create a very innovative workplace and drive impact with such an interesting community, right? Within their developer communities and across social communities, right? By which they create social capital for themselves, by which they create intellectual capital for their organizations, and so on and so forth. Right? This is what we define as a digital culture. Something that drives quicker decisions with handheld data, something where innovative motivations exist at every step of the workplace, somewhere where people are empowered to run autonomously because they have the data to support and processes and learning to support themselves, somewhere where collaboration breeds engagement, permitting them to voice their opinions and create a quick consensus, right? And all of these in terms of having a community and also independent behavior through the power of data is what I believe is digital culture, right? Work independently where you have the data, work collaboratively and empower yourself with the power of people when you don't have data, and enable processes so that when you do it once, that's being taken care of for at least the next few times, right? And this is where I shift slightly towards what is the fuel for managing this digital culture. right? You can establish this 4-panel, 5-panel once in your organizations and say, this is how we are going to do about it. This is culture, bye-bye. But how do you nurture it constantly? So how do you fuel it? One is to create this strong community, be it like a Stack Overflow or a strong peer group. It could be on Slack, it could be on any platform, but something that creates individual identity for people, for their contributions, that creates a place for inspiration from others within the organization. Respect is a must-have for people to learn from one another, right? So to create that sort of a capital and investment from employees within the ecosystem, right? And also an inbuilt curiosity for how do we crack this? Right? This is an organization that has a wealth of data, a wealth of knowledge with our peers. How are we going to capitalize it first? And then there's always this delta that can be met. All the time that happens, right? And this leads to our learning opportunities and several pivots in terms of these learning opportunities. Number one, in terms of providing a high performance infrastructure with zero trust, of course, and with the ability to install any new product, any new package and experiment with it, right? And that's something that I've seen only a very few organizations do, right? In terms of moving idea to volume or scale, there's something called reverse mentoring that most fast growth organizations do, where the mentor happens to be the younger person, right? And there are forums for casual experimentation with two unique value props here. One is called exchange circles, where people exchange groups. Let's say you work for marketing and I work for engineering. We exchange our circles, which means our communities, friends groups, and add value to those groups. So this is to, I would say, add a layer of diversity, force diversity into your vein so that you imagine yourself as a different person. And that thinking reflects in your digital gene. See, this totally circumvents this possibility of I'm a digital person, I don't understand what you're doing. But again, this data analytics platform does anything you want, provided you feed A, B, C, D, E into it. And people say, why do you need this data? It's working now, right? So this is to think in other shoes that people run this exchange cycle, exchange circles. And there are also many 30-day projects that people do apart from a hackathon mode, where they restrict to a certain scale, which is time boxed to 30 days, and then deliver in these exchange circles. So I go into a new department, do something valuable for them within 30 days. And this hop goes on in the organization, right? These are casual experimentation avenues, where this culture of knowing new people, learning something new and contributing keeps happening. And this keeps people interested as well, right? And this also gives people enough credibility and comfort level with any kind of risks that people may take in their day jobs or in their new initiatives. Right? And lastly, I would say, how do you breed this digital culture is to automate more and more with the only intent of cutting down on the boring non-value add work and giving more time back to people, so that they work, so that they use their time towards anything that's interesting for themselves and for the organization. That's been my time. Thanks.
Thanks, Vikram. I think deep insights. So really talked about these pillars of digital culture, how to manage all these things. I think everyone has got a deep insight about talked about. Yes, Sab, you have a point here.
See, he has covered more or less everything, but I would like to bring in 4 points. Number one, try to eliminate the process. Already he has told the process. That is number two. We have to educate, train. If you do something good, it is going to help others. If you are in a position to communicate this, that is number three. The technology should go to the user. User should not come to the technology. This is a differentiation which we have identified, which is helping us solving many problems. Yeah, the final one is without they are asking something, you provide, which is going to help improving his process, the work which he is doing. So these four things over and above what he has already told, those also we have covered, but these four also has helped us in bringing that culture much quicker to adapt. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ayasaf. I think you added the icing on the cake. So Namrata, over to you. Do you have any questions?
Yes, Arvind, we have some audience questions actually. The first question is from Manish. He's asking how digital transformation is changing the automotive industry.
Ayasaf, would you like to answer this one?
See, changing the automotive, digital is changing the adaptation practice. Thought process itself is changing. It is not only for auto. The traditional way of thinking has brought in many obstacles. The new way of thinking, specifically post-pandemic, including the end users, the people who are operating the machines, are also contributing to make digital adoption happening by way of surfacing the different issues or submitting their requirement right. The change is inevitable. It has to be there. It is going to be there. It is happening. And it is happening much quicker post-pandemic because of already informed, we have discussed about those. It is not only this industry of auto, across industries this is happening. There is no doubt on that. Thank you.
Thanks, Ayar Saab. Namrata, any other question we have?
Yes, sir. Last question we have, how to navigate the ambiguity of a digital transformation.
Great, very interesting. Mr. Vikram, would you like to take this one?
Where is the ambiguity? I don't think there is ambiguity, because there is, if we go with the mindset of doing something that already works and making it work better, faster, cheaper, I think that has to be dealt with the eyes of automation, not as transformation. Right? When we are talking transformation, the opportunities are clear that we are going to do something that's foundationally different, and we are addressing a different scale, a different era of business, and there should be no confusion.
Thank you, Mr. Vikram. Namrata, any other question? Or
no, that's all the question we have.
Okay. I think thanks panelists. So I think this was really a lot of knowledge stuff. We talked a lot about cloud, digital transformation, and I guess attendees definitely would have loved this session. There's a lot of insights from technical expertise what we have in the panel today. So thanks everyone. Thanks for your time. Over to you, Namrata.
Yeah, before winding up, I request everyone to smile so that we can take a screenshot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all the leaders for making the discussion rich with your thoughts. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you everyone. Bye-bye.
Now, the most awaited moment of the evening has come to an end. A precious moment to celebrate success and innovation. Inflection Awards are India's most prestigious awards in technology, supply chain, logistics, procurement, marketing, and organized by Alden Global Value Advisors. Today, 150 plus CXOs and 350 plus attendees are watching this live on our website. Now, let's start the celebration with the first award for Technology Leader of the Year Cement 2022 that goes to Mr. Govind Singh from Dalmia Cement. I request him to receive the award and speak few words on this achievement. Congratulations, Mr. Govind.
Thank you very much. Really, it was was pleasure being a part of the session today, and thank you very much for this appreciation. It really helps. We'll continue to impart whatever little learnings I have had in my life with all the fellow members here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Kindly smile so that we can capture this moment. Congratulations. Great show. Thank you. Next award for Cybersecurity Project of the Year EPC 2022 that goes to RPG Group. I request Mr. Rajkumar to come and receive the awards and speak few words on it.
And thank you very much, Alden Group, for I mean, it's good that we received this award, and it was good participating in all the discussions and panels and all. I think thank you very much, and thank you for nominating us for this event, and thank you for providing this award for us. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Mr. Rajkumar. Great show. Please smile so that we can capture this moment.
Yes.
Thank you. Next award for Digital Transformation Leader of the Year Auto 2022 that goes to Vikram Karthik from Mahindra Group. Congratulations, Vikram. I request you to come and receive the award.
Hi, Namrata. Thank you.
You're not audible, Vikram, and your video is also off.
Yeah, I cannot put on the video. I'm just recovering. So thanks a lot. Very grateful for this, and it's flattering. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vikram. Great show. Thank you. Take care. Award for IT Strategist of the Year EHS 2022 that goes to Atin Agarwal from Karam Industries. Congratulations, Atin. Please receive the award and speak few words on it.
Hi guys, thanks a lot for nominating me for this award and providing me this opportunity to be part of the panel. At the same time, giving this award to me as in the strategist for the year. I really appreciate all the panelists who have shared their insights, and which gives us the more clarity to further, bring on the right technology for the organization. Thank you very much to all the panelists and Alden Group for giving this award to us.
Congratulations, Atin. Great show. Please smile so that we can take the screenshot. Thank you. Congratulations. Next award for Manufacturing Visibility Project of the Year FMCG 2022 that goes to Palle Agro. Congratulations, as Mr. Prasad is not here, so we can move further. So the last award for Technology Leader of the Year Apparel and Fashion 2022 that goes to Vipin Rustagi from Page Industry. Congratulations, Vipin. Great
Thank
show.
you. Thank you. And I would thank the panel and the selection panel for this. And the last few years have been very tough. And the efforts are getting recognized. That means we are moving in the right direction. Thank you very much for this.
Congratulations. Please smile so that we can take the screenshot. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you, top leaders and delegates, for sharing your contribution and making this rich discussion. Hope you all will be able to carry the thoughts of the day to build a robust roadmap and strategies. See you at our next FMCG IT Innovation Web Conference and Awards in March. Thank you all and congratulations to all the awardees.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.